This is the Bruvs of thebruvs.com. If you want a podtastic podcasting Christmas, be good. We're not officially Santa's helpers, but we're watching you.
Hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Martin McDonagh, and we had about a good 3-4 minute conversation going on about the whole net neutrality thing that just passed. I seem to be all against it. You seem to be not for it, but a little bit more understanding on their side. And your point was that a lot of people, we'll give the sped up version of it. I think enough people are talking about it, so we don't have to go into too much detail. But your point was they kind of created it, and there's a lot of people saying, but it should be free for the people out there. My response is people already do pay for it. People already go to Comcast and AT&T and pay a monthly service for it, and they always throw another 20 or 40 bucks on it a few months in, just so you know, this is what's happening now. You'll be paying this fucking much. So it's already like, fuck you. Where do you do your part? We're already paying for the fucking services. So the idea of these cocksuckers giving more of a fucking grip on it is what kind of pisses me off.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I just looked through a bunch of, pro and cons on each side because I didn't want to just see, because all you see on the internet is everybody who's against it. But I'm like, I just want to see who's for it. Because at the end of the day, it's like when you're just getting a one-sided argument, it's like, well, yeah, it's easy to jump on the bandwagon. It's like, I just want to kind of take a look. And a lot of the things on there, it's like I don't think it's just going to radically change. Everybody's like, it's going to change everything. I'm going to go out to the woods and shoot myself in the head. It's like, okay, it's not the end of the world. It's like, calm the fuck down, And at the end of the day, it's like, I don't think, people are just, it's like, they're going to make you pay $5 to use Amazon and $5 to use Netflix and $5 to use all these things. And it's like, I don't think so, because it's almost like the whole, the idea behind it's like a libertarian thing. So it's more of like a whole open business, free market, take it out of the control of the government. That's what they just don't want. They don't want regulations from the government for internet usage. That's the whole thing about putting it up there. It's like, no, it should be 100% open, no government controlled stuff, do what you want. But at the end of the day, if it's business, I don't think, nobody's going to want to, charge a service fee of $5 to use Amazon a month. Why the fuck would they do that? You know what I mean? They're just going to lose business by doing that. So I don't think that at the end of the day, I think that the average Joe will not even notice a fucking difference. Just going to say that.
I don't think it's going to be anything to that extreme. I just don't like the idea of 4 companies or 5 companies with that much power over everything else. And on top of that, I feel like whatever they do, I just don't trust them. I don't trust them. And I feel like there's nothing stopping them from, well, where else are you going to go? They're going to amp your bill up a bit more because you got no other option. And I could see some possibility of it being nothing to the degree of saying, well, if they don't like it, if they don't like your site that much, then they could just make it so their service doesn't go to the site, which I think that seems a bit extreme. I don't think that's likely going to happen because people will pick up on that and be like, what the fuck? But I do see something happening where they make it harder for other companies. So say something like Netflix, they really tax the fuck out of Netflix. It's okay though. We got our own streaming service over here, way cheaper than Netflix. I can see something like that. And that's the shit that's going to irritate me. And the other thing that just kind of got me wondering, just regarding us, I don't know. This is worst case scenario. I don't think it's really going to happen, but I'm just one of those things that had popped up in my head. The idea of them taxing them so much, these other smaller companies and other platforms.
And it's not taxing. We shouldn't use the word taxing because it's not a government thing. It's not taxing.
Not taxing, but fining them for their services and all that kind of stuff. But they'll start charging these other companies, smart companies, more. So it's kind of hard. They have to be more conservative when accepting other shit. It's one of those days when they have to be more conservative depending on what content they let onto their site. So, for instance, I guess, would we start have to paying more to upload certain things to Podbean or Podomatic? I know we already have some hosting fees on there, but would it go up more, and would they have to be a little bit more conservative in certain aspects? Or YouTube, would they cut tax would they fine the fuck out of YouTube and charge them more? So it's like, oh, if you really want to put some shit on YouTube, you now got to start paying us. Now I don't think that's likely going to happen, but with that much power, I don't think anything's going to stop it from happening. Or it could happen. People will protest it and they'll back the fuck up. Who knows? Maybe this is something. I don't think this. Maybe this is something like Trump is like, shit, we really need to fucking win. You know what? Let's get this dopey looking fuck out here who always carries this big ass Reese's cup with him to goes to all these meetings. He's just kind of a fucking troll. Let's get this shit motherfucker saying all this crazy shit. We'll make it happen. And then the last minute, I'll come in and say, no, this is not what the Americans want. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. But you put me here. I said, get the fuck out. I'm for the people. I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm kind of hoping that this is just a thing to make himself look good.
Well, realistically, it's not.
Flip around.
It doesn't help out like the politics or the government or anything. It's actually the other way around. It's like a business thing. That's what it is. At the end of the day, it's a business. And the thing is like people don't realize this, but Netflix fucked over like a lot of the internet, because the second that Netflix is going, people just like leave their TV on with Netflix just rolling, and they're not even fucking really watching it, and it's just sucking data. So the guy who's across the street trying to fucking do his his online work is going, why the fuck is the internet going so slow? It's because your fucking neighbors don't turn off their goddamn Netflix at all, so it's just going 100% all day long. And it just sucks the bandwidth. I mean, it like maxed out. Like for all those Comcast and AT&T and everything like that, like they literally were just instantly maxed out. That's why Uverse never ever made it past like Modesto and Sacramento area, is because it fucking maxed out the bandwidth so fast with all these different streaming things. And I think most people don't understand that. They're just like, what do you mean? Why doesn't it work? It's just like, there's only so much you can go. You guys got to share among the, the bunch. But I'm paying $80 a month. I'm like, yeah. And it's still like, you got to share because they got to keep building it. But here's the thing. In 10 years, I feel that will all be solved, because we already know how, look at 10 years ago, we were still pretty much using dial-up, unless you were kind of rich or you lived in the right areas. Nobody really had high-speed internet. I guess around 2000, let's say maybe 15 years. 15 years ago, we were kind of stuck at that. Now we're like at an ultra high-speed area. Fuck, like on my thing, if I'm like in the right area with enough service, I can pull like 90 megabytes down. You know what I mean? Compared to like a 56K modem. Mm-hmm. So give it another 10 years, I think that all these issues would kind of be like resolved. I think it's like what you're hearing is like a here and now problem, but not a future problem. As things go faster and things get more powerful and, give or take. And I think one's like, I think cable and, anything that has cords, that's fucking old fashioned. Like that is useless. That is like just today. Once AT&T, once Verizon hit their 5G networks, there will be no reason to have anything but fucking wireless internet. All they gotta do is now, once again, put more towers up and so on like that. So most of these issues that are going on, I don't think they'll ever really affect anybody, because the thing is by the time that even this thing goes into effect, the internet's just going to get faster, just going to, go like that. Yeah, a couple things like Netflix probably, because Netflix uses like 70% of the internet or something like that, like a ridiculous amount. Probably maybe a little bit less by now.
Really? 70%? Yeah.
Streaming video takes more internet than anything else you could possibly do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you leave your fucking TV on streaming video, that's sucking more than anything else. Like, even like gaming. Gaming actually doesn't take a whole lot of internet. It's different if you're streaming it, then once again you're back to the streaming section. But that doesn't take a whole lot. Uploading files doesn't take a whole lot. So if you're uploading something to YouTube, generally it's like, what are you uploading? A gig or two file maybe even less if it's a short video. So that's really nothing. To watch Netflix, especially if you're watching it in high quality, that's like 5 gigs an hour.
I'll say this. You just put a picture in my head. I remember back when we were kids. You could probably still find them today. Like, hey, kids, conserve power. Turn the lights off. Or make sure you turn off the fan when you leave the house or the air conditioning.
Turn the fucking faucet off. Don't let it drip, Timmy.
Yeah, so you always see those kind of things. Usually on something like PBS or whatever. Kids are like, what the fuck's PBS?
Still exists. It's not like PBS is gone.
I
I know Trump was trying to get rid of PBS, but it's still there.
He's trying. It's still here. But I mean, people
Fuck
probably
that
like,
Big Bird.
oh, I just fuck that bird. Now I think even like Big Birds now, unless it's on both of them. I think now like it's on HBO now. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. That's neither here or there. I'm thinking about like some PSA where they're just like, hey kids, don't stream past this time. If you're done if you're done streaming, just go ahead and turn it off. Don't leave it running. I could see some like PSA like that. You don't want to waste that internet now.
That literally sounds like there would be like a Comcast thing, like, hey, don't just leave that going, Well, be kind to your neighbors now. What if Jim's trying to upload his business proposals, and then next thing you know, the fucking internet crashes because you and your 5 kids don't know how to turn the goddamn TV off.
Well, that's kind of the case. I mean, if you ever been to someone's house who has a couple of kids, they just leave the TV going just to keep those little fucking monsters sitting. So
that's what I mean, though. So, like, picture that. Picture a house where they got 4 TVs going at the same time. They got it all on fucking high quality, and it's fucking sucking up 5 gigs per TV. So that's 20 gigs a fucking hour plus, maybe 25 gigs an hour. That's a lot of fucking data that's being sucked up. So it's like one of those ones like I wouldn't worry about the YouTube people. I wouldn't worry anybody who's uploading or anything like that, downloading. It's not that. I think the only people that might be in the bracket are the people that do a lot of streaming, which I know that like nowadays that's like 90% of people. It's not an uncommon thing. But here's the thing. It's like by the time it all fucking kind of gets around to it, I think the internet's just going to speed up and that bandwidth issue is going to become less and less of an issue. And here's the other thing too. People could go like, "Oh my gosh, we're all this. There's going to be extra price and everything like that." But it's like if you've kind of noticed, we've already been slowly going towards this anyways, because everybody nowadays has their own fucking streaming site. You know what I mean? Like if you look on fucking any of the apps like on an Amazon Fire Stick, there's like 150 fucking choices that you can have of like who you want. You don't have to just have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, PlayStation View, Slingbox, like all like the big ones. I mean, then you got Crunchyroll and all that kind of stuff. Now I do kind of worry about
Slingbox. There's something called Slingbox.
Yeah, you never heard of that one? It's the original streaming service for TV.
Just a weird ass name. Like I call it the calendar box. They call it the Slingbox.
Well, I think it's like the initial like Slingbox came out like 15 years ago or something like that. I think the initial one was like, hey, you hook it up to your computer and then you can watch TV from your computer onto your television set. Like that's how it originally I think started, and then as time went on, it became the first one to really have it where you can have literally like. You could be watching like fucking ESPN on your phone live. Like when that was kind of unheard of, they were the company doing that. I mean, nowadays
TiVo was a thing.
TiVo's still a thing for certain people. It depends like what you have. You kind of need it for certain stuff. I know most people just get their DVR just because they have it already built in with their Dish or their Comcast or so on. But if you didn't have that, you could still use a TiVo. Like, okay, I'll say this.
I guess my thought process.
If you're the person who doesn't want to pay for Comcast or Dish or anything like that, and you actually live in a city that you can use a antenna still, you could use your TiVo on that, where you can pick up like 35 fucking channels.
My thought process is like usually like, look what we can do. You can record your shows, watch whatever you want, learn what you want, check that shit out. Those motherfuckers can't do that. Like, oh, got this shit called DVR. I just use that. Yeah, it works fine. Yeah, like, oh, wait, we didn't mean that. It's kind of like how Quiznos, they would be. I mean, now they're still around, but not as big. It's like,
they're barely around.
Subway toast their subs? Does Subway toast their subs? Fuck no. Only Quiznos does. Subway's like, let's get a fucking microwave. Oh, wait. We didn't mean. Shit.
Shit, we thought we had like the patent on it. I guess it didn't go through yet. No, that's totally how it was. Because, I mean, TiVo was the first DVR, and then. I don't know if it was the first. Probably some other poor bastard out there that was the first, but TiVo was the first popular one, let's say that. And then as time went on, it was like when people just started to include it, made it easier and so on. But I don't know. Once again, at the end of the day, I don't think this is as big of an issue as people make it out to be. I mean, I really think that the average Joe will not be affected by it. You know, and if the cost goes up on Netflix, like, what's it going to go up? Like $2? It's already a fucking deal as is. Like, shit, remember back in the old days, you had to pay like $80 for fucking TV. So the idea that you can get fucking TV for like $10, and if it went to like $15, that's still hell of a deal. And here's the thing, that was $80 in fucking like 1999. So that's like $160 today.
I know, it's one of those things. I don't think it's going to I think it's a bad pattern. I think it's a bad pattern, but at the same time, I don't think it's likely going to happen, but I guess it still could. And just when it's 5 companies, just kind of looming over everything else, that's where I'm just like, you guys are already making a fuck ton of money. And I know you already explained the whole bandwidth thing, but at the same time, I know these motherfuckers got the money to take care of that and build more towers and all that shit. So, and I know there's millions of people watching television, watching and streaming every day. So I understand. So when you explain that, that's actually a good point you bring up. But at the same time, I don't know. It's like, I know you guys got the money to fucking fix it. And when they have this much, they're putting this much in to try and get it. I just can't trust. I don't trust these. I know chances are today we're going to talk about a movie we probably, I don't know if you like it, we probably like, that's by a giant fucking corporation, and we both love Batman. That's from a giant corporation. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, so I know, but there's other aspects. You just get down to the bare business and not like the other things they put out. There's things about it where it's like, I don't know. I mean, is it likely that they're going to totally like, guess what? If you want YouTube, $20 subscription a month. Is that likely? No. I think they're smart enough to realize that. But at the same time, I can see them. I mean, I'm already paying, like, when I first got my internet, I was paying like, $40, and they just amped it up like another 30 something like a little bit ago out of nowhere. So it's like, oh, so I can totally see them doing this with less options and less, choices. So but we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe this thing might get repealed in the next month or two, or maybe we'll be here 5 years from now. Like, remember we were scared of net neutrality going away? So we'll find out.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think that the average Joe, I know there's a lot of scare tactics out there, but I just don't think so. Because here's the thing. Those 5 companies were already controlling it in the first place. The only difference was that there was a little bit of government in between. So all they've done is they've just eliminated the government part. That's it. They were always in control in the first place. Just the government had a couple, handful of things to say there, and whether or not it just depends how much you're into the government. I know that's where that far right things like the government's there, they're spying on you, they're taking your data. So now if you're a far right person and you don't like the idea of the government spying into you and taking your data, not like that fucking really happens unless you are an evil person. That's the only thing is, do you do bad things in your life? If you do really terrible things in your life, then yeah, maybe the government is spying on you. But if you're just the average Joe just doing your thing, nobody fucking is spying on you. So that's what they want, is they want the government pulled out of it. So it's a total libertarian, Confederate, whatever you want to call it. It's totally that let's separate the power of that so that there's a little bit more free reign among individuals and business. But
I mean, as far as that goes, I can see, because you're talking about I guess something people are mentioning. I don't know if it will go this far. I mean, maybe if it was a big thing, it was competing with it, they might make it a little harder for it. But say, we, I don't know, Time Warner. Let's say, I mean, we generally like a lot of Warner Brothers stuff. But say we see a new DC movie or Warner Brothers movie, and we both take a huge, hefty shit on it and on this podcast. And I guess, what if they wanted to flag that and remove that? And, I'm not really stressing that. I mean, that already kind of happened to a faint degree with YouTube when it was a bot. It was literally a bot who just hashtagged. They saw Justice League and Aquaman in the hashtag. And it was like, flag, get rid of it. And YouTube just okay, we'll get rid of it. So, and that's going a year or two back now. But
yeah.
But at the same time, though, when that's unfiltered, unchained, so to speak. But yeah, we won't beat it over the head.
Yeah, as I say, and that's the thing is,
I
I don't think that, like, technically it actually sounds like it's almost a little bit, because in all the pros and con things I was kind of going through, I had a lot of time to kill yesterday, and looking at it, it was just like a lot of the things that it actually seemed like, everybody points it out like, oh, it's going to make things like on lockdown, like you're in a fucking third world country and you have no choices and things like that. But then when I started reading the pros and cons, it was actually like, oh, it seems like it's actually taking more restrictions off, so that there's actually more freedom in the internet and more places you can go and things like that. The only thing that's getting locked down maybe is just certain things like bandwidth. That's the only lockdown, and that's only just to balance out the internet is like the whole reason behind that. It's you slow down the ones who are taking a ton of memory so that the ones who aren't getting enough memory can get more. So it seemed more like this weird, like, yeah, it's like almost like the exact opposite of what everybody like screams and shouts about on the internet. Like when you looked at the fucking like details, you're like, oh, it's actually the opposite way almost.
Well, if I trust these like 5 companies to actually do what they say, then
yeah.
But I think they're in it for other reasons than to slow down Netflix. They're in it for other reasons. I don't.
Oh yeah,
the
Netflix is just scares people because everybody fucking like lives and dies by the Netflix.
Not my Netflix. I don't even watch Netflix as much as I used to. There was a point before when I wasn't watching TV and I didn't want to get. It's kind of funny because I meant to mention this a while back. We were talking about our arms race with Blu-rays and DVDs, but for a while I didn't want to get a Netflix because I knew it would make collecting DVDs and Blu-rays obsolete. Because it would be one of those things like, here's some weird, obscure 70s exploitation movie I wanted to see, but there's something fun about going to like a weird, like, something like Amoeba or Rasputin's and finding it and spending, $12 on it and checking it out. And like, maybe it was amazing, or maybe it was okay with some interesting moments, or maybe it flat out sucked, maybe. But it'll be something kind of like The Warriors. Everyone told me how amazing The Warriors was, and if you grew up with it, I totally see why you'd say that. But when I actually went out of my way and got The Warriors, I'd be like, I see why people like it, but it's not. I don't think it's that amazing. I think other things have done this better by this point. But then if it was on Netflix, it'd be like, whew, boy, I'm glad I didn't spend like $25 on that.
Yes, the thing. Well, this is my downfall, though. It's like, this is why I almost never watch Netflix and Hulu very often. They practically never have any movies that are like past the 80s and back. You know what I mean? Like almost everything. Anymore, yeah, almost everything. I mean, every once in a while they have like the token fucking classic movies on there at some point. There's always a small section, but for the most part, there's not a whole lot of that on there. And that to me, it's like a lot of the stuff that I want to watch.
Crazy Mary.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that I want to watch is never on there. So I end up just buying movies because it's like, is it on Amazon? No. Is it on Netflix? No. Is it on Hulu? No. It's like, oh, I guess I'm buying it on DVD or Blu-ray now. And
I feel like there's a lot more on the. I feel like there's like a lot more on there before a bunch of other people started doing their own service, because you said there's the Quentin Tarantino, you said there's the I don't remember what it's called. But you said there's one that's like for big time movie fans. Like, here's like Australian horror films. Here's this one.
Yeah, that one was really cool, and I felt bad I didn't get it. But the only reason I didn't get it is they didn't have an app on PlayStation yet. I'm like, well, fuck, that's what or Xbox. So it's like those are the two things I fucking watch it on. So it's like I'm kind of screwed then. I don't want to watch on my computer, So I didn't get it because of that. But I don't think any of those sites really took away. I think Netflix just started catering more towards like their generic audience, because that's how I kind of look at Netflix. Netflix has become like, it started off very like, and DVDs, I'm not going to count that because that's, you can choose anything there, but Netflix is almost kind of like the generic people's like TV's next section, I would say. And I don't mean it like that, like there's not good stuff on there, but I just look on there and a lot of the stuff on there is just kind of like, oh yeah, just run-of-the-mill TV stuff, made for the regular people and so on. But if you really like classic movies, or you really like fucking like hidden gem flicks, and you really like all these kind of obscure stuff and foreign things and so on, Netflix has a little bit of it, but just not a whole lot of it. So you almost have to go, like, if you really want to watch anime, you got to kind of go to Crunchyroll. If you really want to watch some of these other movies, most time you have to fucking end up buying them because they don't exist on any of these ones. And I get it. You know, they only got so many movies they can put up at a time, so many licenses they can have, and so on. So they can't just have, like, everything known to mankind, and they can't please everybody. They'll just please the majority. So that's where I feel like those other ones kind of step in and do their thing, but... Yeah,
when I first got it, I felt like there was like a lot more and just a lot more weird, obscure shit. Now I've gone there. It's like you said, there is kind of like there's like the cheap made for TV, like sci-fi channel quality, like horror sci-fi movies you'll see on there, and then there's their basic stuff. There's their original stuff, which is some of it's really good, some of it's just kind of like the same for me. Then there's just like whatever big Marvel movie came out.
And I think that's actually what did it. I think when they started getting the really big movies, probably because what happened is back in the day, they were like, okay, well, let's just get a bunch of cheaper stuff. So they would pull kind of more like eclectic things because they were just going for what was cheap. And then I think now they just go, well, let's just get the big stuff. Because I mean, when I saw like, it's like they just have like, like Doctor Strange was on there like literally like 3 months after it came out. It's like, how much did that fucking cost? That's all I thought. And how many other movies don't get on there because of that, and so on. And I think once they started doing their own Netflix originals, that started kind of erasing all that little back catalog of stuff. So that kind of happened there. But enough of that fun stuff. Let's talk about an awesome movie that came out that I was actually kind of surprised that it sort of like ended up sort of slipping past us right away. I mean, it came out last week, so it's not that long ago. But it was still one of those ones where it's like, I knew it was coming out, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, it just kind of slipped by me. Well, there was no trailers for it. It never had any advertising and so on. It was just one of those ones like, only happened to know about because I fucking ran across it on Fandango. But that is 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah, then the thing about that is I remember seeing a few little trailers for it here and there. Not trailers, actually posters. I just walked past and just seeing the poster, I'm like, looks like some kind of little like small town drama thing, which it is to an extent. And then I just remember seeing it just did poster a few times. I went to like smaller theaters. And then I just looked at the trailer, and then it's like, oh, it's a Red Band trailer. The only thing they had for it was a Red Band trailer, which makes sense because I think it's kind of hard to show. Then I saw it's like from Martin McDonagh. I was like, oh my fucking god! I had no idea that he had a new movie coming out. So I mean, I knew he was working on one, but I didn't know this was it. So literally, the day I saw his movie was out, and it was been out for like a week or two, I was like, and I was just looking around and just went to the nearest movie theater that was playing it, watched it, and I really like this movie a lot. And people are saying we're in this time where, you know, they're not entirely wrong, but we're living in this time where there's like a lot of superhero stuff, a lot of genre stuff, a lot of fantasy, a lot of comic booky kind of things. And I get why people might be a little tired and spent on that, but to say that they don't make real movies anymore, that's bullshit, because this was a total self-contained, old school, 70s style, old-timey drama film, old-timey 70s, you know, just old school, like dark comedy drama, this is just such a good movie.
Yeah, and it's just totally awesome. It's just one of those ones like, you know, In Bruges, Seven Psychopaths. Those are 2 amazing movies, and that's what really made me love this director so much. Is that he makes, and both these ones, I guess, In Bruges, what makes that movie so amazing is it's a movie it's a half of a hard drama and half a dark comedy. And just that weave together is kind of rare. You don't see that often. You know, you mostly don't have the full-on, like, let's just make this sad and dark and depressing, and then have it where you have all these laughs all at the same time. Like, you could put In Bruges in your drama section, or you could put it in your comedy section. It goes in both. And that movie right in itself is so amazing. And then Seven Psychopaths, I will say, it's a little bit more on the comedy section. It doesn't have as much drama as, say, In Bruges does, but it still has it in there. It still has that same tone. It has fucking amazing jokes and great characters and fantastic storytelling. And then, yeah, you get the Three Billboards, and it's kind of like that again. I would say this one probably falls a little bit heavier on the drama than anything else, but it's still got like great fucking jokes in there.
Yeah.
And even as the movie keeps going on, there still is more and more jokes and so on. And it's like a total simple plot. I mean, like, it all takes place in this teeny tiny town, Ebbing, Missouri, and it's just about this lady has her daughters, you know, raped, murdered, burned all at once, and nobody, you know, the cops work to try to solve it, but they don't get anything done, and she doesn't think they've done enough, so she rents out these 3 billboards on like a funky strip of town that nobody really goes by, and, you know, gets them for cheap price. Well, sort of cheap price. I thought she was going to give them for much cheaper. Like, at first I'm like, who the fuck's going to, you know, I mean, they're just sitting there. They'll probably give it to her for like $100, and then it's like, oh, $5,000 a month. I'm like, oh, lady, you just like, I bet you could have thrown out like $200 at this guy, and he would have been like, fuck it, yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah. Plus, well, it's out of they say it's a road that no one really goes down. But sure enough, it still just starts to draw a lot of attention. And I'll say that this one is more of a... We'll come back to this movie in just a second. But the thing about a movie like In Bruges, not saying you need to have like slapsticky comedy throughout a whole movie to make it entertaining or anything like that. But something like In Bruges, first off, the comedy really fits that world. Secondly, that movie is so dark and so bleak, I think it needs that comedy to work. Otherwise, you're watching one of the most weirdest, most depressing movies possible. It's literally a coked-out hitman trying to deal with grief of after accidentally killing a child and trying to figure that out. And then somehow they find a way to make that fucking funny. It's like,
oh,
it's like
boy.
you can tell someone. I mean, because, well, it's like the whole part. Like, you can tell someone what In Bruges is about without, because, you know, they don't really advertise that it's about him killing a kid, but that's what it's about. He's a hitman. He's new to it. He killed a kid on a job. They're hiding out in Bruges. He feels he feels wrecked by guilt, and he hates being there. And there's so many things on his mind. But it's one of the funniest fucking things you'll ever see. It's like it's
even sad too, because like they literally send him to Bruges because he fucked up, and like the guy's like, you know what? I'm like, the boss is like, I'm a nice guy. I want him to have a nice trip. He's gonna go to Bruges, but then you gotta fucking kill him. That's the thing. You know, he's got to go down. You don't just kill a little boy and get away with it. But I want to give him a nice send off. And of course, the whole time Colin Farrell's there, he's like, "Fuck In Bruges. It's the shittiest fucking town ever." It's just, I just love that. There's like really nothing you could probably hate about this town. You're just walking around and like in the movie, and it's just like, how can you even find things to hate? Yeah, he just finds it out like it's just like the worst, like, you know, bumfuck town in the middle of America almost. But instead, it's this really like historic, neat looking, quaint town. He just hates everything about it.
It's like, well, hey, let's go up there. He's just like, why do you want to go up there? I can see everything from down here. It's like, oh, come on, it'll just be a one view. No, fuck that, you know. And then they're just even the part that there's like the fat Americans come by. They're just like, we've been up there. Like, oh, you lot ain't going up there. Like, why? Why? It means it's narrow stairs. I'm not playing around now. He's like, what are you saying? What am I saying? You're a pack of fucking elephants. They start like, you motherfucker. They start chasing him.
Chasing him around.
Lightly jogging, just kind of getting out of the way. And I'll say that Seven Psychopaths is a movie where there's still drama in it, and there's still some heart, like, emotional moments. That's the thing about his movies, is dark and violent as they are, they have a lot of raw, genuine emotion and heartfelt moments. Mm-hmm. In Bruges has that, you know, just real, like, moments where, like, you know, friends are kind of dealing with shit together, and forgiveness and redemption. Seven Psychopaths, same thing. Like, even though that movie has this kind of like unsettling ending of what's gonna, people say the movie has an unsettling ending. I think he gets away fine. I think he'll be fine. I think there's enough there in that last little mid-credit scene that implies he's fine. He's not coming after him. Spoiler.
Yeah.
And that movie is just a lot more of a comedy, but still has enough drama in it. Where this one, I'm going to say it tilts more to drama, and the first half of the movie is funnier, but as it goes on, there's still a lot of comedy just faintly sprinkled in there throughout. And I'll say, being in the theater, the first half, everybody is kind of laughing. Second half, I'm like the only person laughing in the theater.
Well, it is one of those ones, and if you want to hear more about In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths, we did a full-on giant retrospect on both those movies, and also Martin's first, like, little short 20-minute film. I don't know, that's probably all about 50, 60, 70 episodes back by now, but it's there. You should check that out. But go into Three Billboards. Yeah, I know. And I was actually kind of surprised, because I thought this was one of those movies, because I probably saw it, like, well, you saw it, like, just a handful of days after it came out, and then I saw it, like, I don't know, a couple days after you told me about it. I made sure, I'm like, oh, I gotta go fucking see this. So, like, I didn't think anybody was gonna be in there. I want to say I saw it, like, on a Tuesday or something like that, or a Monday even. You know, one of just those random days. And it was like, oh, there was like maybe 8 or 10 other people in there. It's like, oh, that's fucking odd. Like, I feel bad because I'm like, you know, Justice League, the second time I went to go see that, had less people than this movie did. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like, you think Justice League would be packed for fucking like 2 weeks? And I was like, no, but Three Billboards had a little bit more people going on. And well, it was funny because it was just a bunch of old people. That was all that was in there. And they were laughing the whole fucking way through. I remember at the very end, the guy was like, oh, I was like, there's just these like 2 best buddies you could see for like years, probably like 75 years old. And they're like, well, what do you think about it? Like, oh, I thought it was fucking hilarious. Let's go get some popcorn and soda and then let's go get hammered tonight. I don't know. But they just like were talking to us and everything. And like after the movie, and they're like, oh, did you like him? I'm like, well, yeah, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite directors and so on. But so I saw that. Well, it seemed like everybody there, like, I could see where this movie would become like a kind of a shocker. It's like how In Bruges would too. They remind me of those kind of movies that somebody would be like, oh, dude, that movie's fucking hilarious. And somebody would look at you and go like, what was fucking funny about that movie? You know what I mean? Like, they would take it that serious.
He shot a little boy.
Kind of like Gran Torino. That's like that. It's in that same similar thing. Like, Gran Torino, I think, is fucking hilarious. But some people do not see the comedy in that movie.
Well, Gran Torino is really, truth be told, that movie is a light, like, faintly comedic drama up until the very last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The rest of that movie, fairly lighthearted, like Clint Eastwood being mildly racist throughout the movie, like, yeah, whatever, just, I don't give a fuck, get off my lawn, yum, yum, or whatever the fuck your name is. And if you like Clint Eastwood, it's just all the small little things that he does in that movie. So it's just literally when the movie makes a hard right turn into Rapeville is where it's like, oh, wow, shit got real for a minute.
Yeah,
but
it's like incest Rapeville.
Yeah. And this right here, though, this one, I mean, well, plus In Bruges, we won't keep on harping on that, but In Bruges was also one of those movies, like, of all people to tell me to watch it, it was Kyle. And it was a movie I just kind of went blind into. I mean, I saw the movie on Blockbuster. Got Blockbuster, that puts a date on it. But I saw the movie at Blockbuster sitting there, and it was one of those, like 4 movies for $20 or whatever. I'm like, all right. Kyle told me, Kyle, who's in Pizza Boys, your comic, told me to check it out. So I'm like, okay, you're right. I picked it up, I'm watching it, like, looks sad, looks kind of depressing. And all of a sudden, just like, oh my God, this is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. And this movie definitely has some. I was just watching it's in the trailer, with the part where he says like, we got some complaints about those billboards. The big lady with the funny eye, the lady with the funny fucking eye. Woody Harrelson's reactions.
See, and I didn't even get to see the trailer, so I had absolutely no idea what this movie is about. This is literally going into a film going like, I just want to see it because I like this director. Had no idea what the story was.
A good experience.
Yeah, so in my personal opinion, I think that makes the best experience. Watching movies, like, without knowing a single thing about them, like, literally I just say, just look at the cover. That's all you need. Look at the cover. That's it. No more. Don't even flip it over. Don't look at the back. Don't read that paragraph on the back there. Just pop the movie in. Sometimes that makes for like some of the best movie experiences because you have no idea what you're in for. You know what I mean? Nothing is spoiled for you.
I wish I just knew it was the director, because what happened is I watched the trailer, I was chuckling, and I saw the director's name. That's what made me drop everything I was doing and go to the nearest theater. So I'm kind of wishing I just looked up the movie, the who was involved before I watched the trailer, because going to this movie blind would have been really awesome to do. I mean, I'll say this movie has a lot of turns in it, so spoilers ahead for this, because that's the thing about all his movies. They kind of present the plot, and it doesn't it's not like From Dusk Till Dawn, where it's like, oh, it's a crime caper. Wait, no, it's not. It's a vampire movie. It's not that, but it definitely goes in directions you do not expect. And this movie definitely does this thing where you watch enough movies, you're like, okay, I know what they're going to do because I've watched a lot of movies. And then it's just like, no, we don't do that. That was actually just to kind of throw you off the beaten path for a minute. We're actually going over this way. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't expect that. Like, one of my favorite characters of the movie, which I didn't think I'd say this, watching it from the beginning, is Sam Rockwell, because he is such an interesting character, because he's a police officer. He's a fuck up. It's implied that he's somewhat racist, and he like possibly tortured a black guy, and he's just has this whole huge uproar. He's like, fuck. He also he reads miscellaneous comics. He lives with his mother, who is played by Mac's mom from It's Always Sunny.
No, it's all I thought. I'm like, it's like, dude, and like the weird thing is, I'm almost like, it almost feels like that could tie in together. Like that's both their moms.
It could be like she just left Philadelphia, went to Missouri
to see her other son. Well, that's the thing, though. Sam Rockwell, I think that is such an underrated actor. He is so amazing in so many movies. Like, whenever you see Sam Rockwell, he fucking steals the show. I mean, Seven Psychopaths, he's like, to me, I feel like he's like the number one part of that movie. Don't get me wrong, everybody else is fucking amazing in it, but dude, Sam Rockwell is just such a great actor, and he's never really taken off. That's kind of the thing. He's always been kind of like, you know, he gets work. It's not saying he doesn't get work, but yeah, he's always either the side actor or he's got smaller roles. I don't know if maybe it's one of those ones like maybe he doesn't have enough of like a definitive look, because it's definitely not his acting. There's no way that doesn't work. But I'm like, maybe he just doesn't have he's missing like one element that could put him in like that Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise kind of realm. I feel like he's up there as far as acting is, but there must be something that's missing that just he's never been able to make that next step. Because I just think he's such an amazing actor that I think more people need to like know about, who's been doing it for 15 plus years.
Well, this isn't me like trying to like kick him down or anything. I think it's more of like, 'cause he's a fantastic actor, and if he's in a movie, I'm interested. But I think it's more if maybe there is a movie he's been the star, and it's not really clicking in my mind, but I think he doesn't have that pretty boy persona, so he gets away with being the side character with the best lines. The thing about this character is he starts off as almost the villain of the movie, and they don't make him that likable. But the thing is, this does a good job of making a character who's not really likable, yet there's enough interesting things about him where you want to follow him. And I'm going to make kind of a weird comparison here, but it's kind of like Daniel Plainview from There Will Be Blood. He's not really a good guy, and he's not that likable, but he's so good at what he does, and he works so hard, and he's so eloquent. You have this weird kind of respect for him, and you want to see where he goes. And Sam Rockwell, he's an utter fuck up, but he's kind of funny, and he's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And where he goes, though, it turns around, and the villain slowly becomes one of the main characters of the movie. And I didn't think I'd be I wanted to see where he went, but I didn't think I'd like him by the end. So that's one of the reasons why I like this movie so much. Like, walking out of the movie, I gotta see it again. Walking out of the movie, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I like it as much as In Bruges or Seven Psychopaths, but I still like this movie a lot. And the more I thought about it, I don't like it as much as In Bruges. I might like it more than Seven Psychopaths. I got to see it again. But the more I thought about it, it hasn't really left my head. And I saw it like 5 days ago.
Yeah, well, it's one of those ones. Yeah, I will say I like it a lot. Definitely not. I mean, In Bruges is one of those ones like that's like. I mean, I don't think you could ever really top that. That, to me, I consider is like one of the best movies of all time. In Bruges is so good. Like, and especially in the 2000s, that's like definitely top 5 material for that decade. But and Seven Psychopaths, like, I don't know, I like that one quite a bit too. Like, I realistically, I've probably only seen that movie like 3 or 4 times, not as much as like In Bruges and stuff. So this is one of those movies where, like, I'll say, like, I like this one a lot. It is a little bit more, like, I guess it doesn't feel like it has as much like replay value as the other two do. Like, I feel like you could just throw the other ones on and it's like not a big deal. This one feels like you gotta be not really like necessarily in the mood. It's like one of those like a little bit more like hardcore movies, I guess you could say. You gotta have like that kind of mindset going into it. But no, it's like as you're saying with the Sam Rockwell character, though. It's like, well, for me, it's like those ones like I don't really care. It's I like Sam Rockwell so much. It's kind of like Clint Eastwood. It's like they could do almost like wrong in a movie, but you're like, it's good. It's Clint Eastwood. Well, you know, it's like Sam Rockwell. It's like, it's Sam Rockwell. What a goof! Look at him go. Like he could be kind of a horrible person, but make that horrible person almost seem like it's okay to be this like bad of a guy, just because it's Sam Rockwell. He just has that charm going on with it. And then of course you got Woody Harrelson in there too. And he's playing, like, I guess, like the police chief, commissioner.
He's the sheriff.
Oh yeah, the sheriff. Dude, it's a small town. Like, but so he's in there too, and he's you know, kind of chewing up. He's the guy who kind of keeps it in check. He's got the whole like police force, but of course, when these billboards come up, they're just blatantly saying that like, oh, my daughter was raped, murdered, burned, and fucking Chief, Woody Harrelson couldn't fucking get anything done, and of course he shows up. He's
Chief
like, dude, Woody. Chief Woody. I can't remember what his name was in the movie, and he comes up. He's like, "Yo, we did all we could."
It was Willoughby. His Willoughby.
Yeah, Chief Willoughby. So it's close. He's like, "We did everything we could." So some cases you just can't, find out who this, the person is. It's not, you do as much as you can, but you can't always solve them all. And of course, she kind of goes on for Billboards and keeps it going.
I like the thing about his movies is no one is entirely, with Martin McDonagh, no one is entirely a good guy and no one is entirely a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And the movie, I'll say this, the trailer.
Unless you're the rapist guy. That's about the only guy in this movie that's pretty much bad all the way.
And even the skinhead and in Bruges. Maybe there's the one or two characters where they're totally bad, but
all the main characters, I guess you could say.
All the main characters, they're all kind of in the gray area. And there is the character played by Frances McDormand, Mildred, who's essentially the main character. She comes across like it's trying to say something like you can be the victim and you can be hurt real bad, but that sometimes makes you kind of go to extremes that aren't always right. But she's once again one of those characters. Like, I heard some people say they didn't like her. I liked her fine. I didn't agree with everything she was doing because there are times where she was a little harsh and but at the same time, you kind of give her some leeway because her daughter was just murdered and burned and raped. So that her head's not in the right space right there. That she's going through some shit, and plus her husband left her for a 19-year-old girl. So I'm going to say she's handling fairly well for the shit she's going through.
Which is funny because it's like the Eastbound and Down brother, so it just makes it feel like it's like, oh, that's the guy who left you for the 19-year-old.
Yeah, that whole part. Like, I think that, and they add this whole element, and this is a part that is genuinely sad but funny at the same time, just for the raw reaction. And I think most movies wouldn't just pull away from a line like this. But there's the part where Woody Harrelson goes up to her and says, "Look, we did everything we can. There was no database." And then she'd say some crazy ass shit like, "We should make a new database." Well, how? Every time someone is born, we take some DNA, their name goes on a list. And if their DNA is found in the crime, we make 100% sure, and we cross their name off the list. Like this serious,
like she's got like hardcore conservative views, almost you could say.
And like Woody Harrelson just has this look like, I'm pretty sure there's civil rights laws against that. We should change those too. And then at some point he's all like, "Look, here's the thing with those billboards. I have cancer and I'm dying, and there's already a lot going on in my life, and we'll continue looking hard for this, but I need you to understand this. It's kind of a rough time for me. He's like, well, I guess I'll make you look for it quicker, and just holds, and just like that's so brutal and so harsh. But the audience laughed more like in shock, and I kind of chuckled too. But you just look at the face Woody Harrelson gives, and he's he's no pushover. He's a strong guy, and he's like a no nonsense, no bullshit sheriff. But you see the look in his eye; he looks legitimately hurt by those words. Like, oh fuck, like, okay, and just leaves, and your heart just breaks for Woody Harrelson in this movie. I just feel so bad for him, but at the same time, he's just such a likable character too.
Yeah, because he's one of those ones, like, he really doesn't have, like, anything, I guess, like, nothing really negative, I guess, because, like, she has one mission in life, and it's just to solve this mystery, so it doesn't really matter, like, anything that's, like, there's no, like, parameters in between, you know what I mean, like, the quickest path that she can get to her goal, she doesn't care who she offends, who she hurts, who gets in the way. It's like, that's all it is. When Woody Harrelson has this more almost like a balancing act. Like at first, I guess before that, you don't know, because like when those billboards kind of go up, you're like, oh, what the fuck did the police do? You know, you don't really know what's going on. Maybe they are just a bunch of terrible like bastards. And then as the movie goes farther onto it, you're like, oh no, there's really not the police force. They're just doing their normal job. You know what I mean? You know, it's not like they chose sides or anything like that, or it's not like they were involved in this murder or anything. They were just, you know, doing a regular thing, but it just wasn't good enough for her. Like, and her standards are so high, you know, that, you know, they can't, you know, do that, especially a small police department.
And they have the whole aspect where Woody Harrelson, I mean, the whole town loves him, so everyone turns on Mildred. So out of that, it kind of, that's what causes more friction. And there's like some just it's like one of the funniest parts of the movie. And this is like the movie's not jam packed with violence, but there is a few parts that might make you kind of cringe. And it's not like I can see a dude's head blow off in a movie and feel nothing, but it's something small, like someone's fingernail getting ripped off, and that's where I'm like, ugh. And there's a part where she's going to the dentist, and this part, like, this is Martin McDonagh humor to a T. He just goes in there, he's like, I got this tooth wiggling back here, just peeks in there, yep, gotta come out. Let me just get that going. Just pulls like a drill out. He says, shouldn't you give me some Novocaine first to numb it? Like, I guess we should. Numbs it, and you kind of see he gets in there a comfortable angle. Just like, wait a couple of minutes, just stands there for like maybe 10 seconds. Okay, it's probably done. No, wait. Then all of a sudden he's just going for the drill. He says like, well, I'll let you know, we all really like Sheriff Willoughby. And that's where she's like, oh, motherfucker. She grabs the drill, drills it right into his fingernail, and they show it.
Yeah.
And then the guy falls over screaming. And then she like just washes her mouth out, spits it out. Then later, Woody Harrelson goes over. He's like, were you at the dentist earlier today? He's like, and her like side of her mouth is numb. She's like, no. So it's just like that. Really?
And it's funny because that kind of came around too, because before in the movie, like when Sam Rockwell went out and interviewed people, and he said like the woman with the lazy eye, he's like, and a fat dentist is also who was complaining about those billboards. So then when you saw the fat dentist coming, you're like, oh fuck, that's the guy. So it was kind of a neat little like come around too. Mm-hmm. But no, yeah, there's great humor, there's great twist and everything like this, and he even has a point too, you know, as far as because there's the guy who puts the billboards up, and he's the Irish guy, and you didn't see fucking American Made, so you're missing out on like the greatness of this Irish guy.
American Made, I really want to see that.
Oh, dude, you got to see it. It's like that movie's so fucking good, so fucking good. It comes out, I think it actually might be almost out. I want to say it comes out sometime in December. Like I still mean to see whatchamacallit, The Shape of Water. I almost went to go see that instead of this, but then I realized this who directed this. Oh, never mind. Martin McDonagh beats Fish Monster. Oh, did that come out already? The Shape of Water?
Yeah, it came out like last Friday. So I was
weird because I saw a fucking trailer for it again on fucking three billboards, so I assumed it wasn't coming out till like February or something.
No, it's already out, and I almost went to go see it, but then this movie was playing. I'm like, never mind.
Yeah. Shape of Water looks good, not fucking Martin McDonagh good, though. But,
yeah.
Where was I going at with this? Can't remember.
You were saying the Irish dude from...
Oh, yeah, the Irish billboard guy and stuff like this. And this guy, you know, of course the police go, hey, you got to fucking take this down. He's like, well, she's got a contract and everything like that. And then the police kind of hassle him some more. And as time kind of goes on, he tries to, like, almost, like, get more money out of Mildred. They kind of get her to do this. He's like, whoa, I thought we did this fucking contract. He's like, oh, well, that was a down payment. You know, he kind of starts being that guy. But later as this movie goes on, I guess this gets to, like, more spoilers, even though I guess that's to be assumed on this podcast. But Woody Harrelson's cancer gets so bad that he takes his wife out, takes the kids out, has, like, the perfect last day because he's going to kill himself. And it's like, this is, like, the weird thing. Woody Harrelson could kill himself. He could shoot himself in the head. And could still have jokes post-death. That's what I like about like the Martin movie. It's like, you know what I mean? You could have somebody literally kill themselves, and it's not really the worst thing. You know what I mean? Like, it all kind of like works its way out. It's not that sad. It's sad, but not too sad. You know, it was like an understandable like one. But the second that like fucking Sam Rockwell learns about this, he is so fucking pissed. And the whole thing about him is he just like reacts like on impulse. That's just who he is. He doesn't like think things through. Well, he walks across the street, grabs that fucking Irish guy, and just starts beating the living daylights out of him, like pistol whips him, breaks a window, fucking chucks him out there. The guy rolls off the edge. Then he goes and the secretary runs and he punches her right in the face with the gun.
Keeps walking. That dude's name, I think it's Caleb Landry Jones. That's that actor's name.
Oh yeah, that's him. And I know that's for a fact. Because like, when I remember when I saw American Made him like Caleb, I'm like, that guy looks such like a Caleb.
And the part where you're talking about, that's the thing, because they get across that Sam Rockwell looks up to Woody Harrelson. What's his name? Willoughby. Mm-hmm. He really looks up to him. So the second he dies, he's just like flat out crying in the arms of another officer, like he's just taking it all in. And he's still, like you said, he acts on impulse. And I want to, that feels like a Martin Scorsese scene, because I want to say they're playing Walk Away Renee when he just walks in there. So like this really upbeat, happy, like doo-wop song, just like smash him right through the window, like, okay, and he just kind of doing it all casually. He's like, hey, boy, what's going on? Just throws him right out the window.
It's got like, I think it's like one take too. It's just like a follow shot, you know, just a guy behind on the camera, and that's what it is, just walking up the stairs and so on.
But regarding Red, the Caleb Landry Jones character, they even do a good job of making him like apprehensive to the horrid thing, because he sees the billboards. At first, he sees the billboards, like, I don't know about this. This is going to cause some controversy. Like, okay. And then the cops come in, like, listen to me, you weaselly piece of shit. Like, look, she paid me. I can't really say nothing. I can't do nothing. It's not about that. It's, you got to take it up with her, and I can't disclose her information, but you can probably figure out who did it. And then later, you could see they're just trying to press on him more, and he's not trying to weasel his way out of it to be a dick. Like, you see, this guy's not perfect.
Yeah, he's not perfect.
Like he's not perfect, but he's not doing it to be a dick. Like, looks like I need some more money. It's more like, look, without him saying it, it's more like, they're really hassling me. They're really making shit hard. So there's actually a part of our deal that we left out, that you need to pay me more money. So yeah, really, yeah. You can see he feels kind of bad about it, but he's more just concerned for his own well-being more than anything else. Mm-hmm. And that's where you find out that after he died, like there's Woody Harrelson, somebody paid Mildred the money. It was anonymous, and that's where you find out that after he died, that he paid it. And he says, like, yeah, people are gonna assume it's you, so I figured, you know, I wish you luck. And it was kind of like a nudging, kind of like, this is going to make things a little harder for you, but hey, you made things harder for me. I think that's a fair trade, but I do want to let you know I wish you the best, and I hope you find the guy. And even if I was dead, you'd probably still keep these billboards up anyway, because that's just who you are. And she's like, yeah, he's kind of right. So I kind of like that even though they have this antagonistic relationship for the first act of the movie, 2 acts of the movie. They don't, not to the point of being friends, they both kind of have this respect for one another. And there's a part where he coughs blood right on her by accident, and she does look like, I'll get help. So they show that even though she is flawed, all these people have personalities, and they are realistic in that aspect.
And even though it's like one's almost like that kind of small town thing, that they all kind of care for each other, even if they kind of like sometimes disagree on many of things. Because that's what I like in that letter. Because Woody Harrelson, after he's dead, he has a letter for like all the main people in it. And when he sends Mildred one, he's like, when you put those billboards up, I almost looked at it like it was like a great chess move at the end of the day. And you know what? This is my chess move back. You know what I mean? And it's like, he's like, it makes me laugh and you'll get it. And, nobody else is going to believe it, but that's okay. And, even like, he sends that off to like Sam Rockwell. And of course, there's this like, I think on that same day that he dies, of course, Sam Rockwell he like says something to this like black guy stand outside before he walks in the police station, and then as he kind of goes in and then comes back out after he chucks that guy off the edge, turns out that black guy's the guy sent in to replace Woody Harrelson, and of course Sam Rockwell's fired right then and there for which really at the end of the day it's like, oh, you just get fucking fired for chucking a guy out the window and beating him and his secretary. Well, boy, that's really not that bad if that's all you get.
I shall we do it in Missouri.
So he does that, but and then it's like there's a letter that Sam Rockwell gets after he pretty much gets fired from all this, where Woody Harrelson's like, you know what? I think what you gotta do is you're gonna become detective. Yeah, you gotta work some things through, but if you just keep going with it and trying hard and doing all this stuff, you can really make it. I have faith in you. You're a good kid. You just got a little bit of problems. That's about it. So it gets almost like this very motivating thing, realizing that he did just kind of fuck that up by just acting on the impulse.
And it's same thing that I want to say, and I don't want to sound all hippy dippy and lovey about it, but it's literally what the movie says. In Seven Psychopaths, he makes kind of the same thing, like try to act more with passive, like be more passive and act more with love, because that's literally what Woody Harrelson says. He says, you act on hate and anger. Try to act on love. I know you're capable of that. And that's what he says to Dixon, the Sam Rockwell character. And right around that time, it's kind of sad. Like there's so many sad, tear-jerking moments in this movie, but at the same time, it's also funny still. It's because it's a Martin McDonagh movie, but then it's also just capped off with just bad, with tragic timing. Because right when he's told he gets this letter after he's fired, and like there's the one, I don't remember the actor's name, but he's the guy who plays Woody Harrelson's right-hand man in Seven Psychopaths. He plays one of the police officers in this, and he says to Sam Rockwell, he says, look, there's a letter for you there. Why don't you, after everyone's gone, it's just kind of awkward right now, why don't you go there when we're closed, you leave your keys on the counter and take your letter, take your stuff, Which I really thought, like, that's another weird one too. Could you imagine telling somebody who just got fired, you know what, it's okay, there's going to be nobody at the office. Why don't you come in? I know you just got fired, but come on in when nobody else is there. Just, like, that sounds like so trusting. Like, could you imagine somebody getting fucking fired and then being like, oh yeah. These guys probably went to high school together.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, these guys kind of like, that's what I mean, it's like that, but it's like, that's like so trusting. But yeah, it's of course, yeah, so Sam goes in there, he gets his fucking letter, and of course he's got his headphones on, because he's had his headphones on throughout the movie. There's even a point where when Woody Harrelson dies, it does something where, like, you almost would, like, in some other movies, they would ruin this, because they wouldn't understand how to do this joke properly. I'm talking about a lot of Marvel movies. But in this movie, they do it totally fine, where after, like, Woody Harrelson tragically dies and it's sad and everything like that, it literally cuts to, like, Sam Rockwell, like, listen to, like, upbeat music, kind of humming along to it and everything like that.
But it totally, or some bullshit.
Yeah, like, it totally works though, because the whole thing's like, he's just doing his normal daily thing, and then the second that he pulls his headphones off, he sees that everybody in the fucking police station's, like, in total distraught, and then it's like, oh fuck, Woody Harrelson's dead, But so on, he's back in this letter, going fast forward in this movie. He's reading it, he has the headphones on so he can't hear, but of course Mildred's like, fuck this police, they're not doing anything good, I'm just going to burn down the station, assuming that nobody's in there at nighttime, so she chucks a bunch of Molotov cocktails at it.
Because what we should actually add somebody went and tried to burn down the billboards, and they
that's right.
the movie even implies it was Sam Rockwell. We don't see what happens, but he's just kind of like, we should mention he's trying to do everything he can to make her life difficult because he really loves Willoughby as a, like I said, he's like a father figure to him, and so he's trying. He starts arresting her friends. He starts making things difficult for her, and there's a part where he says like, "Well, I'm fired. I guess I gotta go find something to do." And then later we cut to just shortly after that. I'm not sure if it was the next scene or at least close to it. Mildred's coming home with her son, and the billboard's on fire. Yeah. And that's where she's like, "Those motherfuckers! I know who fucking did this. I'm gonna get these fucking cocksuckers." And they do a good job. They like, even if they're doing something wrong, they do enough to make them human about it. And she calls the police. She calls the police station 3 times to make sure that no one's there. But like you said, Rockwell has his earbuds in, so he can't hear it. And he's reading the letter. And as the Molotov cocktails hit, that's where he crawls out the window. He's on fire. He's burned, but he's alive. Peter Dinklage, who has a crush for her, sees her and kind of covers up, like, "Yeah, we were kind of just drinking. Like, are you dating?" Like, yeah. And that's where we go into, like, Peter Dinklage kind of covering for her. They start to hang out for a little while, briefly, because, that's going to be plays with you, because you think...
Peter Dinklage has one of the best lines, like, later on in the movie. Like, there's a point where, like, she says she'll go out on a date with him just to kind of, like, for a thank you thing. And it's kind of a shitty date. Nothing really seems to go right on it. And at the end, he's just like, "You know what? You don't have to just do this just to do this." Like, when he's leaving, he's just kind of angry. He's like, "I came out and I held your ladder for you." I don't know why, but, like, I thought that was just fucking hilarious. I know it's probably out of context. It's not that funny, but, like, in the movie, it was, like, hilarious.
Well, it's just really, you feel so bad for him because he's an awkward guy. He's like this. He's this dwarf guy who runs a used car lot. People give him shit for being the midget in town, and he has a thing for her, and she's kind of like, "Okay, whatever," and like, "Okay, you kind of did a favor for me, you looked out for me, so we're gonna go on a date." And that's where her husband comes by, talks some shit to both of them when he's there with the 19-year-old girl who's just kind of bubbly and oblivious. Like, she doesn't seem mean, but she seems
extremely friendly, but, like, just, like, doesn't know what's going on.
Oblivious. Yeah. And there's a part where he's like, "If you want, we can leave." Like, "No, I want to get it over with now. Otherwise, you're just going to drag me to another place another night." He says, "I didn't drag you to anything. I asked you. I didn't make you come." Like, he says, "You make it out to be that I'm just..." And that's where he just totally breaks down and actually cries. And just, like, that is one of the saddest things, I think, in this movie, aside from the girl, like, dying. Just this lonely dwarf guy just sitting there crying, like, "I know I got problems, I know," and just walks out, and it's just nothing. That guy, he couldn't get a win, and just feels so bad for him. And then Mildred has, like, one of the best. Then she has this scene where she goes up to him, and she's carrying a bottle of wine. Like, "Oh shit, this is a Martin McDonagh movie. She's gonna bash this fucker in the side of the face with the wine." And then she's like, looks at him, says, "You be nice to that little girl." Puts the wine on the table, walks out. Like, oh, okay.
And then the big thing that, like, is said in that scene that you forgot is that the ex-husband says that he's the one that lit the sign on fire because he got drunk one night and just did it just for shits and giggles.
That's right. You said, yeah, that's right.
And that's the part where you're like, "Oh, fuck." So it's like, it wasn't Sam Rockwell or whatever. And then, which, I love, because this kind of jumps ahead, but there's a part where, like, by the time him and Mildred become kind of like almost like working allies, she's like, I gotta say this. I'm so sorry. I'm the one who burnt down the police station, and I'm the one that threw the Molotov cocktails." And he just looks over and goes like, "Yeah, who the fuck else would have done that? Of course it was you." Like, he's doing it.
Because that's the thing. Because I think any other movie would have been like, "It was you?
Pull the car over," and then they would have had some emotional, like, fuck you, some stupid, like, TV show moment.
But I think I like the movie, how it was, like, smart enough just to be like, "We don't need to do that. We're at the end of the movie. Just pull over to the side." Just like the whole thing, just like, "It was me." Just like, yeah, fucking course. I'm so glad that happened, because I was like, they got this thing lingering over, because he's coming around. He's coming around helping her because he's at a bar one night after he survives this, and he overhears earlier in the movie this one really creepy, shady-looking guy comes in because he's been on the news, and comes in, says like, maybe I'm a friend of Willoughby. He says, I know you. I saw you in the news. Maybe I was a friend of Willoughby. Maybe I'm the guy that fucked your daughter and killed her. Are you? He's just like, I saw her picture in the paper. I know I would have liked to. Just stares at her all creepy like and just leaves. So you don't know if this guy just is he just some fucker who's just trying to hurt her with words, or did he do it, or what? So he leaves. That guy's sitting behind Rockwell, and he's at a bar, at a booth, and he overhears a conversation. This guy's talking about fucking a girl and then lighting her on fire. And he's like, fuck, and he pieces things together. He goes out there, sees his license plate, kind of starts shit with the guy, kind of scratches him, gets some of his DNA on his fingers, and he says like, I think I found the fucking guy. And then we find out that he goes to Mildred and says it's not solid, but it's a possibility. I'm fired, but here's what I think. And I think it might be him. They find out it's not him. This guy was in Afghanistan. And it's kind of funny. They even kind of lightly imply it, like, because he says like, well, he's a military man, and he was what he was talking about. He was out of here for the last 9 months, and the thing with the daughter happened like 6 months ago. He's like, well, where was he? He's like, well, it's classified. I can't really say, but he was in the military for 9 months, so we could probably narrow that down. Like, I don't know. He's like, there was a lot of sand. He's like, still don't narrow it down.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's like, I like that. And I think the whole thing, too, is Sam Rockwell thinks that, hey, if I can solve this mystery, I can get my job back at the police station. I think that's the whole goal. This is the thing. This is what will finally get me back on track, and so on. And I just like it, like, because this pretty much just goes, and then they figure out, like, nope, it wasn't this guy, it wasn't that. So you're like, oh, it's almost like kind of a letdown. But I like what it does is he goes to Mildred later on. He's like, you know what? I know that guy's not the right guy, and it isn't his, but he's a rapist. No matter what, you want to just go take care of it? Where does he live? He lives in Idaho. Like, and they're like, yeah, let's go do it. And it just kind of goes off like, yeah, you know what? It might not be the right guy, but let's go do some good anyways.
And they're playing. As they're going, he's just like, "Are you sure about this?" He's like, "No, I'm not sure about it either." It's like, "Do you want to turn around?" Like, what are we gonna do? We'll figure out it on the way there. And the movie ends.
And the movie ends right there. And I will say, this is like, I mean, I kind of knew it was going to end right there. I do sort of wish that there was like almost like the extended ending, and it just added like just an extra 10 minutes just to show them just really go and fuck this guy up, because this guy was such a shitty person in the movie that you just almost wanted to see it happen. I mean, I kind of knew because the movie's called 3 Billboards in Ebbing, Missouri. So, you know, the movie takes place like literally in like the 5-mile circle of these billboards. So you know that the second that it leaves that area, you're not going to see it. I knew that for 100%. There's no way that was going to happen. But at the same time, it would be kind of cool just to see. That's like my only, like, it's not really like a complaint, but it's like, oh, I would love to just see that like extra 10 minutes of the movie. You know what I mean?
I think they fucking kill him, or at least think Sam.
Well, I know what they do, but I mean, like, I want to see it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get you. And every so often, you know, we've heard people, we've complained about people not showing and saying, "Well, what do you think happened?" Every so often, I mean, most of the time that annoys me, but every once in a while, I think they give you enough hints through performances and writing that we know what happens. Wrestler. He has the same heart problems. They said he was going to die if he does this move. He jumps up. He dives in slow motion, cuts to black, holds on black for a couple of seconds. Bruce Springsteen plays.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's dead. So this right here, they seem unconscious. They seem unsure. They don't seem like they know for a fact if they're going to kill him or not. But at the same time, through the performances and the way Sam Rockwell is, I took it as he's probably I think he's gonna at least kill him, because he had his gun, he had a shotgun in his arm while he was talking to her on the phone. He seemed a little bit more of kind of like implying like, hey, you want to do it? When she seemed like, I don't know, I kind of got a kid, but I think I should, you know. So I can honestly see it being one of those things like, well, I'm never gonna become a detective again, so let me just do this and kill this piece of shit, and maybe you'll feel a little bit of justice by driving me there or something.
Yeah.
But, there's one scene we left out that was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, which is when she comes home. Her son did a fantastic job acting in the movie too. I forgot to mention. They showed that he was kind of struggling with all this stuff, and they have an interesting relationship. But she comes home and she says, like, "Boy, I tell you, that midget, I think he's trying to get in my pants." "Oh, hello, Father." The priest is sitting right there in the kitchen. He says, like, "I think you forgot how to forgive, and I want to talk to you about," and like she is totally on the most anti-Catholic rant. He says, like, well, remember back in the 90s or back in the 80s when they started doing all those like laws for all them claims, all them Bloods and Crips? They said, even if you weren't there, you're part of that gang, so it means you're part of the crime. Well, I'm just thinking about your church and the way you guys work, and you guys are kind of a gang. You kind of got your clubhouse, you take all that money, you do this thing, so I don't believe you ever gone and fucked no altar boy, but I'm going to treat you like you did fuck an altar boy because you're still hanging out with them boys at that club, Well,
because they go to say that they made that law that said that, like, hey, if you're wearing like a Crypt or Blood symbol, even if you're not part of the crime that happened, they can still arrest you anyways, just because you're part of the same team. And that's where she goes, like, you might not be the one, you might not be the one fucking a boy, altar boy. Let's just say boys in general, But if you're in the same church, the same thing, you're pretty much doing the same crime as well. It was like kind of that sort of thing.
And then she's like, she says, like, "Now you go ahead and finish your tea and get the fuck out of my house." And
yeah.
I'm not doing it justice.
It's a great scene. It's
literally one of those Tarantino, because every so often, like, Seven Psychopaths is kind of a critique on movies trying to be like Tarantino, but this is one of those ones where it feels like a Tarantino-esque speech, but he nailed it and didn't make it feel like too forced,
Well, and I'll say Martin McDonagh is kind of like, he is in that post-Tarantino kind of like directors. You know what I mean? Like, there's no denying it. It's like one of those, if you like Tarantino, you'll like his movies. They're kind of in a similar vein. I mean, obviously, yeah, he has his own style and all things going, but it's kind of like, I always feel like Guy Ritchie's in that kind of like category too, and just those kind of directors that came afterwards. That's sort of like what they kind of go for. They like that realistic movie. They like that kind of like, long drawn out conversations that work really well, that have a good meaning, that tell you a little bit, give you some history and all kinds of stuff all in one. No, that's a fantastic. I mean, there's so much good stuff in this scene. There's another part too where, like, because that, you mentioned the boy, and like, of course he's being hassled at school and he's kind of a little bitch, sort of. You could kind of tell. I mean, not like in a bad way, but you could just tell that he is that kind of guy at school. He's probably that kid that you're kind of like, oh, who the fuck is that? Oh, I don't have this kid come sit next to me. You could just see he's one of those guys who gets bullied and so on. But they pulled up and she drops him off, and somebody throws like a chocolate milk at the windshield, and she gets up. She's like, who the fuck threw that? Who the fuck threw that? Nobody's saying anything. She just kicks a kid like right in the balls, like, and then looks at the next one. Who the fuck did that? Then she kicks the girl right in the vagina.
Before she had a chance to finish her sentence.
Yeah, and I just like, that's what I mean. There's so much great stuff in it. Like, overall, yeah, this movie is fucking amazing. As I said, my only kind of thing is, like, I would love to just see the last 10 minutes of the movie. And it's not saying that, like, I don't know what happened. I kind of like, yeah, it's not one of those complaints like, oh, I'd like leave it to your imagination. It's just one of those ones like, oh, it was like, that just would be such a cool thing just to see that guy be fucking punished for like his crimes. I think that's just, that would have been neat. And then it's like, here's the thing. His movies always do kind of leave off with a little bit. I mean, that's how Seven Psychopaths sort of leaves off. That's even, I guess you can almost say In Bruges almost even leaves off like that. So maybe that's his trademark and style. And once again, with the title of the movie being so specific, I know 100% why it's not there. But at the same time, it's like, God, I would love to see that. Even if it was a deleted scene or anything like that, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Or just like a newspaper line, like, oh, the guy died or whatever at the end or something.
No. I already know that.
You want to see?
Yeah, I don't need. It's not that. I want to see it. Is what I'm saying. I want to see a fucking Punisher like moment. A fucking Tarantino like moment where they find this bastard and just kind of like, that would be just cool. I think that's the only thing. I think that's about the only thing that's kind of missing. And once again, I mean, it's not that it brings the movie down, but it is just one of those ones. It's like, oh, that would have been so cool. Because for me, it's like I feel like I think some people walk out of the theater going, oh, they never found the killer. That's kind of a letdown. You know what I mean? I don't think so, because I feel like that's like the real life stuff. A lot of times in real life, you don't get what you want. You know what I mean? You just can't get it. You can try as hard as you can be, but you just don't get it. So I'm fine with that part. I just want to see just give me that little bit of extra. I don't even care if it's one of those ones. Maybe they don't even go to Idaho. Maybe they just go somewhere, but just
or they
something.
Pump it on the gas station out like just right on the edge of town. So
yeah, something like that. You know, like or even fucking underneath the billboards. Have it all tied back around. So
yeah,
but.
No, this movie I will say. Now, I mean, I'm gonna say this movie for me is like a 4 out of 4 because it's in. This may seem like they credit it in some way. It's not a movie I could just probably put on at any point, but definitely is a movie I think of, and I can't think of really anything wrong with it so much. And it is a movie that is long and it does linger, but it doesn't feel boring. It just takes its time, and that's the kind of movie it is. It's like a hard drama sprinkled with a lot of great comedic moments. And I think it's kind of like if I had to compare it to a Tarantino movie here, I guess it would be something kind of like a Jackie Brown or a Hateful Eight, where fantastic movie, really nothing to complain about. It just might not move as fast as other movies, so you got to be in a particular mood to watch it. But strictly in the sense of a movie, it's really great and really entertaining and really well made.
Yeah, and well, also, even though it's kind of long, I don't think the pacing is too bad, because that's about my only light complaint to Jackie Brown. I like that movie a lot, but it is like just a tad bit longer than it probably needs to be. You probably could cut some moments out of there, which would even like ruin the movie, and just it would be kind of fine. I think the pacing, it's not the beginning. It sounds weird. When they're talking in Jackie Brown, it's not there. I think it's just when it gets towards the end. I know what they're going for. They're going for like a big buildup, but like when you have like almost a 3-hour long movie, that makes a big buildup seem really long. But this movie's only like maybe a little bit over 2 hours. It's not that. It's long, but it's not like ridiculously long. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But no, overall, yeah, this movie was totally awesome. I feel like it just... Like all of his movies, it needs more press, because that's like how Seven Psychopaths was. Seven Psychopaths was like in and out, and then nobody ever fucking talked about that movie ever again. Even in Bruges is like that. And Bruges is like, I mean, I will say that like over time, I think it's kind of spread a little bit. Like people kind of pass that movie along. That's totally what it is. It's like, dude, have you seen In Bruges? And like, no, I haven't seen it yet. And then you pass it to somebody and they watch it and go, oh my God, that was fucking amazing.
Which, you know, In Bruges was even nominated for Best Screenplay back for the Academy Awards back in 2008. So,
but that doesn't really mean anything, because you think about like when movies get, I mean, it means something, but like when you think about it, like when like a movie gets not like if a movie's nominated, how many people watching that go like, oh, I got to go check that movie out? I
know, but you still think it would be on someone's list somewhere. Maybe not like most common people, but you think some film people or something like that.
Oh, film people, that's a little bit different. I'm like, that's, you know, film people don't fucking make profits, though. You know what I mean? That's like such a small margin. Yeah. But no, so this movie is like one of those ones, like, if there's a movie to see this Christmas, it's fucking 3 Billboards of Ebbing, Missouri.
Which I'll say regarding that, if this movie, I haven't seen a whole lot of advertisements for it, but I have been hearing nothing but good things about it as far as like reviews and all that. And this movie's even nominated for a bunch of Golden Globes. Now, here's the thing. I'm not one of those people who, if a movie doesn't win Best Picture or Best Golden Globe or whatever, I'm not one of those things like, fuck it, it's injustice, it needs to happen. But I just like seeing people, I like seeing like the things I like get appreciation and kind of get not recognized. And if it wins, cool. But if it doesn't, I don't really care that much. But it's cool knowing that it's getting some publicity in that aspect, because I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. In I think a lot of the perform. I think Frances McDormand, I think Sam Rockwell, and maybe even Woody Harrelson are nominated. So, and I think it's also nominated for Best Picture. So we'll see what happens. That's what I overheard. But
yeah, and I'll say, sadly enough, though, is that probably by the time this podcast goes up, this movie will be out of theaters, because I know for a fact that I think Star Wars is going to knock this movie right off in like most people's listings. You know what I mean? Because like these movies generally have like a 1 week, 2 week, if you're lucky, run. So once Star Wars comes in, they're like, put Star Wars up on 3 cinemas. What movies? Get the fucking 3 billboards. Get that fucking shit out of there. Get that, you know what I mean? Like, well, plus 2, and then it sounds weird too. And then like fucking Ferdinand's gonna come in and knock that out, and a couple other movies that all came out this same week. So that most likely it's gone. But here's the thing: it'll probably come out on Blu-ray and everything soon. And if you do have a theater that's seeing it, it's totally worth going out of your way to see it.
So before we get too much into Star Wars, I'm curious to know what you think, because I'll just say without I'll kill the anticipate. I'm not sure if people are dying to know what I think. But I liked it. I thought it was good. I liked it. I went to go see it with my friends David and Jenny, and I do a show with them, Digitally Twisted Reviews, and they're just starting to get it up and going. And a lot of the reviews on there are older movies. They saw them later, and plus he had trouble with the computer, so it'd take a minute to get them uploaded. Oh boy, they hated the fuck out of that movie.
Did they really?
They hated the fuck out, or at least David did. And I won't go into all the thing. I'm not sure.
We'll say this. For anybody who doesn't know who David is the guy who said, fuck Luke Skywalker in the old movies. It's all about Darth Vader and the fucking Empire. That was his view of politics in Star Wars.
I'll say it. I don't want to talk shit on him behind his back.
We're not talking shit on it. I'm stating a fact.
Shit. Fact here. No, but no, he told, because he loved the expanded universe in the books, and he liked Luke Skywalker from the books. That's Luke Skywalker he liked. Movies, he was just a farm boy bitch, didn't give a fuck about him. And so this movie, he just fucking hated, and just it's. I'm gonna say it should be up fairly soon, but the review, you could just, if you want to see him, at some point he went to Disneyland with his wife and Jenny, and he had this Darth Vader helmet with Mickey Mouse ears he got while he was there. The first 30 seconds of the video is him getting up, breaking this thing, ripping it apart right in front of the camera, while we both just sit back like, okay. He says, I can't, fuck this movie, fuck it. Walked out. And then I'm like, well, I liked it.
Well, that's kind of... So, yeah. No, that's interesting, because, like, I thought it was, like, the kind of went the other way around, where I thought more of these, like... But then again, I don't know. Like, some other people that I know that, like, were into the expanded universe stuff, they actually really liked this Star Wars movie a bunch. Number 8, I guess, technically, I guess, when you're referring to everything. But... yeah, I mean, I could see how someone can... I mean, like, I'll say this. I myself, I enjoyed it. It was not really... I didn't think anything in it was really amazing, but I did enjoy it. It's one of those ones, like, it's another one of those movies where, like, it's played super fucking safe. They could give a flying fuck about 1, 2, and 3 fans still. You could see that they still could... They could care fucking less about you if you like 1, 2, and 3 in these movies. And it's like, that's about my only thing. Is like, because here's perfect. I'm going to use this example right off the bat. They go to this casino planet and everything like that. And there's a fucking track there. And it's this like space horse track. And I'm like, dude, that is the perfect area for pod race. And then all these fucking like alien space horses go by. And there's nothing wrong against the alien space horses, but I'm like, such a lost opportunity. That should have so been like a sweet fucking pod racer scene right there. Why is that not a pod racer scene? You know what I mean? That's like the number one. That sounds like the perfect place. It's like people are fucking placing bets on pod racers, because we all know that pod racing's across the galaxy anyways. It's like, and then like that would have been so cool. Fucking Finn gets in a pod racer and they're fucking escaping, and he's got like his Mong lady with him and whatnot, and they're fucking flying out of there and shit. And it's like, fucking, I don't know, Sir Bulba's all old, and he fucking like walks over like and just starts yelling at him or something like that. I don't know, but it's just like one of those ones, like, because this movie really has like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I get it, they're doing their own thing and whatnot, but it, like, they really just like it's like, come on, it's like, dude, that's such a perfect moment, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, overall the movie's fun and like it's good and everything like that. I don't know, I only seen it once, but it's probably my least favorite out of all the Star Wars movies, I'll say. Like,
For me, it's mid-range. It's in my mid-range for Star Wars movies. I felt like the whole casino thing. We'll get into it beat by beat in a minute, but just get this part of the way. I feel like the casino thing was sort of a throwback or acknowledgement of the prequels. Maybe not acknowledgement, but that seemed like a scene. Like all that stuff seemed like something you would more likely see in the prequels. Just the look of it, the vibe of it, because I don't know. Because in other Star Wars movies, everything else look a lot more darker, kind of more grittier, like the original trilogy, where it had this very shiny, lavish lifestyle, which that reminds me more of the prequels. So
yeah,
that's
well, I'll say because it has like the almost like in Clone Wars, like when you see some of those areas where everything's like fancy and smooth, and it hasn't been all used.
Aristocratic.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I guess by that standard, I'm not going to count that as like, oh, but see, we did that. We made things shiny for you, 1, 2, and 3 fans.
I'm not saying that alone makes it be like, here's a acknowledgement to Mustafar. I just feel like that it was in spirit kind of something to the prequels. That reminded me of a scene that would be more likely in the prequels. Now, I'll say this. I like the movie, and I think it's good. Now, every time a new Star Wars movie comes out, everybody says, it's the best one in the series. Like, let's pump the fucking brakes. It's a good movie. It's an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will definitely, and you know what? I have no problem saying I'll probably get it when it comes out on Blu-ray. But at the same time,
did you get Rogue One yet?
I've been meaning to. Here's the thing. I like Rogue One more than Force Awakens. And I have Force Awakens. I just haven't got Rogue One, but I think it's because I just saw it on Netflix. So that's enough to like push me off from getting it for a little while longer. I've been meaning to get Rogue One. I like that one a lot.
Because Rogue One was the movie that I think that one's pure. Like all these like new 3, that one is by far the best one.
That one had some balls. I liked Rogue One a lot. And this one, it felt like I honestly think this could be not my favorite Star Wars movie, but up there, somewhere in my top 3 or 4. If it was, I guess 4 is not a big deal because there's already 8 of them. I said this is mid-range. I guess this would probably be somewhere in my top 3 possibly if it was just 30 minutes shorter. Because my thing about it is once they go to that casino world, it slows the fuck down, and everything in the casino world is not really that fun or interesting to me. And it's kind of like, what's the whole reason they had spoilers ahead, folks? Whole reason is, okay, we got to outrun the Imperial fleet. So, we're passing by this one planet. There's a hacker there. That hacker can help us get into this big giant Star Destroyer and hack into their system so we can get away. Let's do that. So we got to go there, get this person, go back.
Yeah, God knows how far away that fucking planet is because they had to like light speed away for fucking a while.
And then the thing about that though is I feel like either A, make that scene more entertaining or more interesting because it was just kind of a lot of just slapsticky jokes once they kind of got to the casino world. And nothing really fun or interesting really happened.
Yeah, no fucking pod racing, no.
They're just like chasing people down. There's like some 1950s. The most interesting thing that happened there was Benicio del Toro is like a weird, shifty ass, like pickpocket kind of character, decoder. And he's probably going to be back in a later movie. So that's probably the reason why he's there. Mm-hmm. But for this movie, I honestly could have seen it just being like, how are we going to do this? I don't know. They probably have some top of the line security or like they're hacking or whatever. How are we gonna fucking do this? Oh, I'm a hacker. You're on the ship already. How are we gonna do that? Oh, let's just sneak behind the chain of command and just go there ourselves. I think that's all you really had to do.
Yeah, I will say it's very extended for like not really a big reason.
I don't want to be an armchair director, but I'm just looking. This thing was like an extra 30 minutes longer than I think it needed to be just to go to this fucking casino world, which really grinds the movie to a screeching halt. And it's not really all that fun or funny in that whole scene anyway. And when they get to the actual Star Destroyer, that's all fun. That's all great. But it's just for a while, we're just kind of, it's like, I really think that girl could have already known how to hack. She was already like, new pipes, new like electronics and all that. She could have just known how to act. Like, all right, let's sneak behind the chain of command, go straight to that Star Destroyer, and then we'll get in there and we will. That's where shit goes down. Because the fourth act, I'll say this: when we get to the fourth act, because this is a 4-act movie, when you get to that fourth act, I was kind of like, oh wow, it's still going. I thought this shit was almost over. But once that fourth act gets going,
yeah, the fourth act's pretty good.
I got kind of the gust of second wind. I was kind of like, oh wait, they just got done with this big battle, but they're still going on. Okay. I'm like, oh, you know what? I just got a gust of second wind. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, let's keep this going for a little while longer. This is making up for that whole casino world bit.
Well, I'll say this. It kind of has like almost like the same problem that I think Empire kind of has. And I know most people don't want to hear the words problem and Empire in the same sentence.
Yes!
But like, okay, because here's the thing. Empire starts off fucking amazing. Like the Hoth scene is like one of the best scenes ever. And then it's like, there's literally almost kind of like, it's not that like the training or Cloud City in between is like bad, but it does slow the movie down all of a sudden because you just came back from fucking Hoth, and then all of a sudden it's just like, you know, it's Yoda and fucking Luke Skywalker trying to like train me, Yoda, and then you know him fucking running off and not doing anything. Yeah, just all things like that, and then of course it's like, you know, you got Lando and everything being kind of shifty-eyed and whatnot, and it's almost like there's not really too much action. There's like little tidbits of action and not really a whole lot until you get to the point where he fights Darth Vader, and that's a fucking badass scene. But it's like almost one of those ones, like, really, if you think about it, like, Empire is so simple. It's like, there's fucking Hoth, then there's Dagobah, and then there's Cloud City, and that's the whole movie. You know what I mean? Like, and when you come from, like, you know, the first movie where it felt like they were fucking going all over the place for a while, at least, you know, traveling, even if they were on Tatooine, it kind of, like, changed up a bunch, you know what I mean? That's how I sort of felt like in number 8, is like, you had a cool beginning battle where Poe just like recklessly kills a bunch of people and doesn't give a fuck about it, and that's okay because Poe's kind of cool anyways. But you know, like literally, it's just like Poe's like, "Fuck it, I'm already out here. Suck my balls, Empire."
Space dude.
Yeah, exactly. And that scene's cool. That's like your Hoth almost. It's like a little mini Hoth, and then like. After that, though, it's just literally they get to the point where, like, we gotta get escape out of here in light speed. And then, like, they go, like, oh, fuck, we're almost out of fuel. Shit, what are we gonna do? Oh, well, apparently they're tracking us the whole time. Well, fuck, we'll just be this stalemate for a while you know, Rey's out there training with Luke Skywalker, who doesn't want to train, you know. He's got, like, his slave fortress out there. Like, Luke's like, who are these people? He's like, oh, they make me dinner every day. And clean. And massage my feet when I feel worn. What if they don't want to do that? Well, I just pull my fucking lightsaber out to them, and that's why they listen.
I don't need to explain it to them. I don't speak their language, but they can speak mine. Just holds out the saber.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it literally, like, because I will say, it's like, this is one of those movies where, like, kind of like how number 7 sort of had, like, a similar story to episode 4. This one has a similar structure to episode 8, but it does different things. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not that the plot's the same, but I feel like the structure's kind of the same, if that makes any sense. And there's that sort of lull period between, like, she's trying to learn from Luke, and of course Luke's not teaching. And this is kind of my kind of problem too, is like, this is probably why David Ward probably didn't like it too, is you get the expanded universe stuff. And I never really read the books, but I had a couple of those people that would sit down and fucking explain it to you, like when you went to go spend the night at their houses. So I was like, oh, I guess I don't have to read. And then, you know, you play the video games and they explain it in there and so on too, kind of like fucking Jedi Outcast and, you know, all those games and so on. And like, the whole point is like, I always just, as a kid, you'd be like, fuck, dude, like when they get to like 7, 8, and 9, there's gonna be fucking Jedis everywhere. Fucking people are gonna be swinging lightsabers like nobody's business. Luke's gonna have that fucking sick ass temple. Fucking Kyle's gonna show up, fucking Dark Forces style. Shit's gonna be going down. And then of course we get to like the Disney version of 7, 8, and 9, and it's like, there's no Jedis. Fuck the Jedis. Fuck them up their stupid lightsaber holes. And you're like, what? Like, yeah, apparently polls say Jedi suck, dick. They're the reason why the 1, 2, and 3 wasn't as good, so let's just keep them to a minimum. And you're like, oh, that kind of sucks. Like, it's like I want to see all that stuff that, like, we were almost like everybody was hoping for and looking forward to since, like, the fucking, like, I guess you probably say since probably the 80s, but since, like, I think of, like, the 90s and everything like that. You know, it's like Luke Skywalker's going to get his fucking wife, and they're going to have that Jedi temple, and there's going to be all kinds of sweet stuff going on. And then it's just like, oh, it's that pretty much we just skipped all that stuff and just went to like back to it being back to old fashioned Empire versus Rebels, but we're not going to call them Rebels anymore. We're not going to call them Empire anymore. We're just going to switch the names a little bit. And yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's one of those ones like, it's not bad, but it's just still so safe. I just want them to go ballsy and just go, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just make this a really fucking awesome movie and not try to pander just to our 4, 5, and 6 fans. No, not even probably our 4 and 5 fans. I'm not even going to say 6 fans. I'm going to say 4 and 5 fans.
Porgs are kind of like Ewoks.
Which ones? The little like things that
Porgs, the little otter bird things.
Yeah, that like Chewie fucking like took on board.
Yeah.
So he could fucking eat him as he's flying in space. That's why he brought him on board. He's just got a fucking like chicken farm up in there.
I can just totally see just like, what if they want to do like a weird indie bottle horror film? While all this is going on, we have the view of a Porg just locked in the Millennium Falcon. Just Chewbacca's just this hulking, just all from his perspective, this scary hulking monster just looking for him. But he's locked in there and he can't get out of there, and he's trying to get his eggs out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Eggs,
but
I'm going to assume they're all asexual or whatever he's produced. No, I was going to say this one. I think that these movies, these new ones, with the exception of Rogue One, I think that they all do kind of follow a familiar format, but then they'll throw something in there which catches you off guard and kind of like, oh shit, it's not as safe as we once thought. Here's the thing. Force Awakens. When Han Solo first died, I initially was like, oh fuck, I need a minute to take this in. Because I'm going to say, I'm used to kind of seeing the heroes die in movies and not really feeling a whole lot. That was the first time in a while I was just like, I need a minute to take this in. I need a minute to take this in and think about it. And you know, when you read so many comic books, you know, fucking Batman, Superman, whoever dies every other fucking month, and they come back to life somehow. And this right here was one where it was just like, I know he's not coming back to life. For a minute, I was like, maybe maybe he got stabbed. Maybe he can survive that. Oh wait, no, he's fallen to the edge. Oh no,
now the entire planet blew up. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I kept trying to like find a way that he would make it, but they kept giving me more and more destruction.
So yeah, and so initially I was really kind of like, oh shit, but thinking back on it, I totally get why they did kill him. Not that I want Han Solo to die, but I get why they did it because
Harrison Ford's like,
gave them the
don't want to fucking be here anymore.
There's that. It's obvious, but I don't think Han Solo wants to be there in the first place. So it fits the character. He wants to be out there hanging out with Chewie, fucking listening to Deep Purple, doing cocaine off the dashboard of the Millennium Falcon. Like, come on, no.
Yeah, like a fucking heavy metal fucking
just like
cartoon.
They're just singing like space trucking, come on, no, just doing like coke and like a bunch of space hookers in the back. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
He misses that life. I think that's why he didn't stay with Leia and the Resistance. I think he just like, you know what, man, I miss the life of just like sailing across the stars, searching for coke and pussy.
Doing shady like smuggle runs.
With my dog.
Yeah.
It's just a story of a man in a pickup truck with his dog doing like shady ass.
You know, just living on the road, living the American dream, space dream that is.
It's like the equivalent of that. Just a dude in a space pickup truck with a space dog, just getting into like fighting outlaws and making drug deals. And but anyway, so I'm gonna assume he at some point probably smuggled some drugs. I'm just gonna assume.
Space drugs, is.
Some space heroin. Yeah, gotta specify. Death sticks. Yeah. There was regarding this. Oh yeah. So, Force Awakens actually did have some balls at the end, I think, because I think that was trying to use that against you, because you're thinking it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. These characters have always been here. We know these characters. We love these characters. They're not gonna. Oh my God! They just fucking killed Han Solo. They just fucking killed Han Solo. And yeah, sure, it was in a Death Star-esque battle, and we had like one lightsaber fight in that movie, so it is kind of going by the old pattern. But I think something they're trying to do, and I know you may disagree with this, but I think that having like a bunch of Jedis and in the prequels maybe suddenly made Jedi seem less special because we saw them all the time and they're always doing this. So I think they're trying to make this one seem like an event every time a lightsaber comes out and make it feel more important. Now I understand the other side, the more the better. If they had a movie with a bunch of Jedis and like lightsabers the whole time, I'd be fine with that. It doesn't.
Well, yeah, because that's like one of my two favorite things in Star Wars is ships flying in space and fucking Jedis, and like that's why I like Rogue One, because Rogue One gives me all the ships flying around part that I like, but it's like, God, the Jedi stuff's like my other really favorite thing. Because I remember just being a kid watching. That's why I love Episode 6 so much. It was like, dude, could you imagine a fucking movie where fucking everybody's swinging a fucking lightsaber? You know what I mean? And then that's pretty much what they give you like in Episode 3. That's why like that's my second favorite Star Wars movie. It's like there's so much fucking lightsabers being swung. Just everybody's fucking swinging their lightsaber around in that movie. It's just amazing. And I don't know what it is. It's just like, this is what I've just kind of learned in movies. Like fucking sword battles are like shit anymore in movies. Like you just don't get them anymore. It's like even like that last Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Like, you know, what's the thing that makes a pirate movie like fucking badass? I don't mean like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I just mean pirates in general. It's fucking the sword battles. That's like the best part of any pirate movie. And it's just like, even in those movies, it's like they just started getting like half-ass sword battles. And in this movie, it's like there's one cool lightsaber battle, but it's kind of over pretty quick. And then there's nothing more. And then there's like moments where I feel like there was such an opportunity. Like there's a part where like fucking Rey's trying to get Luke's attention or whatnot, and then she fucking takes her staff out, and then she starts fighting with Luke, and then all of a sudden she goes to reach for her lightsaber. I'm like, dude, that they should have fought right there. Like Luke Skywalker and Rey should have fought. Just for, even if it was just a couple swings, that would have been fucking awesome. And then even the part later, like when like Luke's like, oh, you know, and fucking Kylo Ren, like he came, you know, I was gonna come up in the middle of the night and give him a hug, and then he fucking flipped out and broke my house. It was like, dude, that right there should have been a fucking like lightsaber battle. Like that would like it was such a missed out. He's like, if you're gonna make a movie, it's like fucking 2.5 hours long, dude. Like Kylo Ren like should have had that scene where he fucking fights Luke off, and maybe he force throws him into the house, and the house collapses on him, and then the other Jedis come out and go, hey, what the fuck, and start fighting him, and then he fucking murders them all. It's like, dude, why the fuck is that not in the movie? Like, I think that's the only thing. It's like the movie itself's not bad, but there's just like things in it. It's like, dude, you had
just
such great opportunities, and it's like, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Mark Hamill's old, so I don't expect him to be fucking backflipping off everything and whatnot. And he's starting to look like fucking Chuck Norris, I kind of learned. But I don't know. So, well, if he's looking like Chuck Norris, maybe I do expect him to do backflips and so on off everything. And it's just one of those ones. It's even at the end, like when, you know, it's a really cool scene, and like fucking Luke Skywalker astral projects himself using one of his powers from like the post-universe book stuff. And he's fucking fighting Kylo Ren. And they still don't really have a sword battle. They hit like twice, and then that's like it. It's like, I don't know. It's just one of those ones. Like I was just kind of bummed that like there was all these great moments, and like mainly for anything, I just want to see fucking Luke Skywalker fucking swing his lightsaber around. Like that was like what I wanted to see, and it's just like it never really happened. And it was that was kind of a letdown. It's like, God, you got Luke. It's almost like one of those ones like you got fucking Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker. And you really don't ever even like utilize him too much. He's just sort of like there. I mean, you could say this by the standard, like it's kind of like in episode 5 and 6. It's like, okay, yeah, Yoda's not swinging a lightsaber around, but you weren't really expecting that moment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then when you finally saw it in number 2, you're like, oh fuck, that's totally sick. Like I've always wanted to see fucking like Yoda swing a lightsaber around. And then like this one, it's kind of one of those ones like, I know, I guess he's at his Yoda stage, but I don't give a fuck. I still want to see Luke swinging a lightsaber around. He's not like 10,000 years old. He's only like 70. Come on. He's not even probably that old. He's probably like 60. Mm-hmm. He can still swing that shit.
Well, I'll say that this one, the lightsaber battles are even a lot more tame in a certain aspect. I think that they did something really interesting with the lightsaber battle in this one. The big grand lightsaber battle is actually 2 of them, not even fighting other guys with lightsabers, just more like
Imperial Guard guys.
You get to see the Red Guards do something for once. They always just stand there. So I'm glad to see we actually get to see these Red Guards, who are apparently so badass, so feared of, actually do some cool shit in this movie. And that was like the best scene in the movie. That part was cool because I just liked how
it fucking switched where they killed what's his name, the guy Snoke, who you think would be this main big bad guy, and then he fucking just gets fucking murdered without even like thinking. He thinks Kylo Ren's just gonna murder Rey, and it's like, nope, it doesn't go like that. And they have this badass battle where fucking Rey and Kylo Ren are actually almost like on the same team for a moment, fucking fighting off these Imperial guards and shit. I would have gave the movie so much credit though if it would have done the balls to do this, because there's a part where Kylo Ren reaches out and he goes, "Hey, let's join up together. You know what? Fuck the Empire. The Empire, the New Order, hasn't been shit. The fucking Republic and the Rebels, they've been fucking shit. Let's do our own thing." And I'm like, dude, that would have been such a ballsy move. They would have said, like, yeah, let's join up. Let's be the third party in this. Let's get rid of this fucking Republican Democratic thing and go straight up, like, as a third party fucking and fight our way with a new thing. Because here's the thing. You look at, like, in, like, episode 1, you look at the Republic, that doesn't look like very good people. You look at fucking Coruscant, like, that looks like the most fucking worst kind of place.
Looks shitty.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, who's to say these rebels are actually have good ideals in the long run? Maybe they're not the right people.
Well, this is like the first time I've seen the Star Wars movie where they actually acknowledge, because, you know, I think like every Star Wars movie, I mean, Rogue One kind of tiptoed around it, kind of like, you know, if you want to be in a rebellion, you got to do some shady shit once in a while. And they kind of tiptoed around it a little bit. Where this one, it's like, hey man, just want to let you know, light side, dark side, you should be probably in the middle, because be totally tilted one way or totally tilted the other way, it's probably just going to cause trouble. And to the level of when Luke decides he's going to go burn down all the old text, Puppet Yoda pops up.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was pretty cool.
Says like, yeah, Puppet Yoda pops up and says like, "Fuck those books, page turners, they are not," and he actually destroys them himself. And it's one of those.
It'd be awesome if Yoda went over there and just started pissing on the temple. And then fucking him and like Luke grabbed the fucking like cow thing and just start sucking nipples like fucking blue milk getting shot in their face. I love how they explain where the blue milk came from. I would say that was probably like one of the things like, oh, that's what it is. That's why Luke chose this island. He's like, oh, I can get all the blue milk I want. Fucking Aunt May never let me have it. Now I can just, you know what I mean? Like, I only got 1 cup a day. Now I can have as much as I want. I just fucking milk the cow. Just fucking down there, yeah. Like, Ray's like, God, he's having a little too much fun with that cow thing. That cow's just sitting there, just taking it, too. Like, just sitting up there like, yeah, you get some, Luke. Milk that shit.
Luke's just kind of lounge up there with his big pop belly and these 4 tits just sitting there like, yeah, go to town.
You get the
yeah. It was sitting there like that, like, which makes me believe, like, that thing, because those things were, like, spouting out of, like, nozzles out of their heads, like they were fucking, like they were, like, whales or something, which, like, God, blue milk must be expensive on Tatooine. That must be a delicacy, because no way those things could fucking survive on Tatooine unless they're like in some kind of incubated chamber or something.
Yeah, there's probably like some town where they just got a bunch of like fucking like SeaWorld full of them. They're all like hooked up to a machine, just like pumping them like. They got a bunch of Gungans down there, fucking slave labor working.
Well, even like this is me solely rolling new movies. Just slave labor in these fucking things. No, like, and Luke even looks at him like, because she's following him, like, Master Skywalker, and she's just following him, and he even just gives her a look like, yeah, I'm drinking this blue milk, just holds it up like the one thing, like, haha, the raw shit. And I got a feeling like, you know, maybe it's one of those things like you can't have too much blue milk because maybe it just fucks you up. Maybe just become this crazy hermit, just like, yeah, I'm just having this thing's like blue cum milk, whatever the fuck it is, and it just kills your ambition. You just want to hang out on an island all day, and yeah, sure.
Maybe that's what Ben Kenobi was drinking for the whole time when he was just hanging out in Tatooine. He's like, this place fucking sucks. At least I got some blue milk I can sit here and drown my sorrows in.
It's like the Star Wars equivalent to like the blue meth from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, exactly. But going back to like almost like that part where Kylo Ren and everything like that, and they were gonna have like almost like that third party group come in there, like fuck the Empire, fuck the Republic. I thought that I was like, dude, that was like that was almost like another missed opportunity. I mean, I know that's kind of like going against it. I think the average fan doesn't want to see like fuck the rebel kind of thing, and I don't mean it like fuck the rebel as in like, oh no, I'm going with the Empire. I mean like, I think the idea of going like, you know what, the Republic wasn't that great either. You know what I mean? Those Gungans weren't even allowed to fucking show up. They literally put them in their own fucking like area. Like, no, you stay here. You stay the fuck over here. Nobody wants to see your Gungan ass walking around our town, our beautiful looking town.
I can see just the Gungan just walking in there, just like Boss Nash walks in, just like pulls
the siren goes off.
out.
Just like, oh god, not another Gungan again. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you look at Coruscant, like,
over here.
Like, tell me this: what's the difference between the Death Star and Coruscant? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so I think that was such a missed opportunity. It's like, dude, I think that would have been such a fucking twist. If you wanted a hardcore twist in a Star Wars movie, you thought that like Luke, I'm your father was a twist. Wait till fucking like your main bad guy and your main like lead fucking decide to go fuck the other two. You know what? We're gonna do it ourselves, and then just have it be like, I mean, fuck it. There's like how many rebels are left? There's like 20 running around, like. You know what I mean? I know they're like, it's the spark that's going to ignite everybody else. The little slave boy, he's going to pull out his fucking rebel decoder and be able to go off to the galaxy and shoot a blaster and smuggle some drugs.
They're apparently, because the way they're doing these Star Wars movies is they're making one, they make one that pushes everything forward, and they make one that's like just a little side standalone story. Next one's going to be Han Solo. Apparently, after Episode 9, it's going to be an all-new trilogy. Pushing, I don't think it's going to. I mean, I don't know if it's going to carry on characters from this one, but apparently Rian Johnson will be heading the next trilogy, and the little kid with the decoder ring. I mean, it's all theorized. This movie's only been out for like 2 days, but apparently it's going to be like planting seeds for that as well. What people believe, which I can see that, because they kind of did go out of their way for this stupid little casino planet. My only real problem with the movie is the casino planet. I get what you're saying about the other stuff seeming like lost opportunities, kind of like, okay, Luke and Kylo fighting for a second, that could be a lightsaber fight. Luke and Rey fighting for a second could have been a lightsaber fight. I will say those lightsaber fights did look cool in the aspect of how they looked like they were shot more like samurai movies. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, I mean, like,
and the way they would shoot, like the whole Red Knight scene, I think it is the best part of the movie.
Yeah, no, that's the coolest part, and like, you know, I mean, here's the thing. Overall, there's a lot of cool stuff in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that ending battle scene where they're on like that salt planet or whatever. That's fucking cool. You know what I mean? There's moments in it that are really cool. But I just feel like there was just a kind of a handful of missed opportunities. And then also the fact that it just played it sort of like still safe. Like they're just trying to appease that episode 4 and 5 fans. I just feel like that's who they're kind of going with more than anything else. And I minus out 6 because 6 is kind of, to me, I feel 6 is the bridging movie, because mostly it seems like anybody who says that 6 is their favorite out of the original trilogy are mostly always totally okay with 1, 2, and 3. The people that only seem to like 4 and 5 are the people that a lot of times don't like 1, 2, and 3. So I'm pulling 6 out as the in-between movie. And it's just like one of those ones like, I get it. It's like, I know what you're trying to do, but I felt like, okay, for 7, whatever, that's fine. I mean, I kind of, that's sort of like the gateway movie, I guess you can say, for certain people. But I felt like by the time you get to 8, that's when you should say, like, they're already in the door. You know what I mean? You didn't scare them away yet with, like, a Gungan or something like that. Because apparently, obviously, just like the Republic doesn't like Gungans, so does the Americas don't like the Gungans either.
I thought they were kind of tiptoeing their ways back to the prequels, sort of, with Rogue One, because they have this, I forgot the actor's name, but they have the guy playing Bail Organa there, as well as going to Mustafar for a second.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's so, like, I mean, that's such, like, a little, like, you know what I mean? Like, that almost doesn't really even count, because those characters, I mean, like, it does
it's more than the other thing. The other ones don't even acknowledge it.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. It's like, I want fucking, like, Mace Windu to come out and fucking be like, yo, Luke, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, even if he's just a ghost or something like that, like, I just want something, like, give me more of that. I mean, like, I'll even say this, even though it's like I like the puppet Yoda, I'm totally fine with that. But that even reminds me too, like where it's like, yeah, like fuck that other Yoda. I mean, obviously that's like if the other Yoda fucking showed up, you'd be like, well, what the fuck is this? Oh shit! I'm used to when Yoda was about ready to keel over and die.
Here's the thing with Puppet Yoda in this one. Puppet Yoda for Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi works totally fine because that's what they had back then. I think they still could have gone with Puppet Yoda, just more of an updated Puppet Yoda, because this Puppet Yoda looked very stiff.
He looked kind of out of place
compared to other animatronics and other creatures they had in this movie that were clearly like not CG. Mm-hmm. And Puppet Yoda really looks like, like a sock puppet right there, So it was one of those things like, it wasn't, well, I may have been a little harsh on it, but I mean, it looks like they pulled it directly out of Empire Strikes Back, which that's fine. That works for then. I see that. It doesn't take me out of the movie, but I can tell it's a puppet. Where I think they could have still used a puppeteered Yoda. It just could have looked more updated, I think, with a little bit more movement.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll say this, like, that's like one of those ones, like, I feel like it could go both ways. I feel like, yeah, you could go with that, but also at the same time, that was actually kind of cool just for, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? This is the fucking Yoda that Luke knew. Let's just keep him like that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's just one of those ones, like, I just want to see, I don't know, it's just one of those things. I want to see just a little bit more of, like, why I like 1, 2, and 3 so much. You know what I mean? I know that, like, there's a lot of the audio, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard because it's like, some people would say like, oh, nobody seems to like the prequels. That's not fucking true. I know a lot of people that like the prequels. I think it's one of those ones, like, I think it's almost like a 50-50 balance between people that really like each one. I know, like, maybe not on paper it doesn't seem like that, but there still seems to be a lot of people. So I can't wait to talk to some other people who, like, I just want to know their kind of opinion. Because some people, like, I talked to, like, really fucking like this one, like, a lot. I mean, like, they thought it was, like, the best one out of the newer ones. But I wonder what the people who like the prequels a lot are going to think. Because if they didn't like fucking 7, are they even going to like this one? I don't know.
No, if you didn't like 7, you're not going to like this.
No, I think it's going to be a tough sell.
For me personally, from probably most favorite Star Wars movies to least favorite Star Wars movie to most favorite Star Wars movie, and I'm not looking to not shit on your baby here. It goes from Attack of the Clones, which is just kind of okay to me. I just think Attack of the Clones is just okay. I think the movie has a couple of redeeming things about it. Just make it okay. And then we get to Phantom Menace, which isn't perfect, but it's an enjoyable movie. Get your Revenge of the Sith, which I think is mostly a good movie. It just has a couple of little awkward things in it, like the overabundance of CG, as well as how quickly he goes evil, very breakneck speed. And then after that, we're probably going on to, truth be told, probably this movie right after that. Then probably Return of the Jedi. Then maybe
God,
Force Awakens.
You like it like almost like the exact opposite way that I like them.
Like after that, Return of the, probably then, like, after this, Return of the Jedi, probably Force Awakens, Rogue One, A New Hope, Empire. And I know that's kind of yeah.
Yeah, because for me, it's like, this sounds kind of weird. It's like, and here's like, all Star Wars movies, I like them all. I don't dislike them. And even this movie, it's like, I like it. It's just one of those ones, I just think I just see some of these opportunities where, like, they play it safe or they just don't go the distance that kind of, like, sort of bums me out a little bit. I don't know, it's just one of those ones, like, at the end of the day, I'm one of those kind of people, like, I would rather just see it in George Lucas's hands more than anybody else. I know, like, he's just fed up with the stupid retards out there, but other than that, though, like, for me, it's like, I probably would say this is probably my least favorite one. I don't know. And it's not saying it's a bad movie. It's just, I didn't like it as much. Probably then number 7. Then probably, from that point on, probably number 2. Even though I've come to the conclusion I actually like number 2 quite a bit. Probably would say number 2. Probably number 4. No, I like probably number 4 more than I like 5. I don't know. That's a tough one there. 4, 5... Then I would say maybe Rogue One, and then I would go Episode 1, and then Episode 3, and then Return of the Jedi. So I like them in fucking weird orders because just certain things. But
I don't want to be that guy. I'm not trying to be the guy who's like, The only ones I like are the first two. Everything else is okay to bad. I'm not being one of those assholes.
Yeah.
The only one I really am just kind of meh on is Attack of the Clones. I even like Phantom Menace. I know for me it's flawed, but I still like it.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Revenge. It's just this one. It's just it has the guts and the potential to be probably up there as one of my favorites. Because this thing, I'll say this, I think it had a better story than Force Awakens. I think the action in it is better than Force Awakens. I think they dive into some interesting characters, and this thing throws you a couple curveballs you don't see coming. Because it does the thing where it kind of presents something to you, and then it uses that against you. Like, I'll be honest, I was expecting, everybody went into this expecting some shit about Rey. What's her past? Fuck you, it's nothing special. Her parents were junkies. Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck were you expecting? Junkies. Get the fuck over it.
Yeah, they're fucking dead because of it.
Yeah, like they're in a ditch somewhere without a grave. I'm like, okay, all right. So, and like I kind of like the movie had the balls to do this. I'll be honest, and I'm not saying I didn't go into the movie like hoping this is what it was, but at the same time, I'm kind of like glad because it still kind of went down sort of the she's really Luke Skywalker kind of thing. I assumed what was going to happen is she was going to be like a clone of Luke Skywalker, like a female version clone of Luke Skywalker that the First Order made, trying to create a new Darth Vader.
They just dumped her off on a planet like
somebody stole her and hid her away from the Empire and dropped her off on that fucking planet. I assumed it was going to be something like that. Then not saying I have my fingers going there crossed. That's what was going to happen. I just assumed that because we have his lightsaber. We don't know where the fuck his hand is though. So it's probably just probably beating off some alien somewhere. Or some aliens using it to scratch his own ass. So like just like duct tape to a stick.
Yeah, exactly. No, like, because that's the thing. There's a lot of great stuff in those movies. Like, I think that is actually really cool. I mean, one thing I want to know is I want to know more about Finn. Because for a janitor, he seems to know an awful lot about the New Order. Like, I just kind of go, what is he hiding? Like, I don't know if that character is going to, like, have this weird turn later on, because he seems too good to do that. But he just keeps pulling this information out of his butt that you're like, wait a second, you had, like, the lowest fucking job on the fucking new Death Star. What the fuck?
I think it's one of those things where when they're not killing, it's just like, okay, you're off the clock, go push this mop. You're off the clock, go work the culinary station. I think it's kind of like that.
Well,
Because
I think it's
he was, or maybe during training they have him doing the intern jobs because he was still like, a stormtrooper killing fuckers at the beginning of Force Awakens.
Well, it's probably that's like the military though. You know what I mean? Like, some guys are peeling potatoes and some guys are doing other kind of jobs and stuff. And I think he was just the guy who was kind of like, well, you're a stormtrooper, but I think you're supposed to be like the lowest recruit of them all. Just kind of like, which just sounds like so racist. Like, who is it? Like, oh, I'm the old black man. I'm peeling potatoes and washing floors for the master.
They're a bunch of space Nazis.
Yeah, they're a bunch of space Nazis. So I mean, I guess it makes sort of sense.
I did like the whole battle they had with Captain Phasma right there. And this movie, also another thing this movie did, I assumed that people, just because of Star Wars, I assumed people would make it out of it. Because, all right, well, they're setting this character up. This character is probably going to at least live to be in the third movie. I'm like, oh no, he kills Captain Phasma, unless they do some kind of fan shit like Boba Fett, like she just hand comes out of like the Sarlacc pit or some bullshit. Or like I was expecting Snoke to be there for the third movie because he was like, okay, here's our new Palpatine. Oh fuck, they just off this bitch. So every so often this movie would do a little something that actually, or they would expand on the abilities of the Force that previous movies didn't. I'm like, well, I guess we never saw a Jedi get shot out into space. And I'll be honest, when Leia got blown out on the bridge, that was another one of those moments. I got that same gut reaction I got when I saw Han Solo died. that thing, like, you're not prepared for it. I'm like, I thought there's a possibility she could die just to get rid of her. But I was like, they did it like that after she died in real life? Like, oh, fuck. Then they did the whole Force thing. Like, oh, I guess Leia knows the Force. She's just not a Jedi. Okay.
I will say that's something that kind of does bother me a little bit, like in some of these Star Wars ones, and it feels like that didn't happen in older Star Wars movies, but it happens kind of in new ones where it's just like almost with Rey.
Shit you didn't know about.
Well, it's just the kind of thing too. It's like they make it out like, I don't know. I know this is like old fashioned like storytelling, like, oh, they're the chosen one. Why are they the chosen one? Oh, well, they didn't have to work for it. They were just born that way. It's like I kind of hate that stuff. Like, I feel these people should have to work to fucking be Jedis and stuff. Like, the idea that Rey really has done, like, very little to fucking be able to use all these Jedi powers, I think's a little bit, I don't know, corny. Because here's the thing. Anakin, even though I know you don't see it, but it's like, he goes on fucking 10 years of training between episode 1 and 2 with fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. 10 fucking years of training. And then he goes on, like, another 10 years of training, or 5 years or whatever, between, like, episode 2 and 3. So he's got a lot of fucking training there. Same with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the idea that Rey's just like, oh yeah, just kind of pick this lightsaber up and, the guy who's the only other guy who seems to know anything about it, well, I defeated him pretty easily. And even in this one too, it's like Luke barely teaches her like anything. And then it's like, oh yeah, I guess you're taking off.
That's one of the reasons why I assumed that she was like a clone, or a female version of Luke, like clone or something like that, because she just happens to be naturally good at all this.
What if they just made it like something weird, like, oh, you know what she was? She was a clone of Palpatine, like something fucking like,
I would give it credit. No, I mean, I was expecting something, and I'm gonna say, and then don't take it me. I wish they did this. I was trying to go in with zero expectations of what was going to happen.
Yeah,
and I think that's where you should go in, because I was talking to some people, and some other people were just like, I'm mad they didn't do this, I'm mad they didn't do that. I'm like, well, that's not what's wrong with the story. That's just what they didn't do with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna say you could say timing. I think the biggest problem, the biggest enemy of this movie is just its pacing and how clunky it feels at times. And really, I think a lot of that would be saved if you just took that whole casino bits and the whole side story with Benicio del Toro out of it, and you just said, hey, Rose, what's wrong? I'm crying because my sister's dead. I know how to hack. You know how to hack? Well, shit.
Oh, I'm Asian!
Well, I wasn't trying to say that.
Just how you're black and you're a janitor. He's like, funny how it is in space.
Disney.
Disney. Hell, where we put them in their goddamn fucking place. Oh, wait, is the fucking camera on still? Get that fucking shit out of here.
When news organization's publishing this, guess what? Autumn by fucking sunrise. That's how the mouse fucking works, asshole.
You know what one fear I did have with this movie, though? I was afraid that this movie was going to have Marvel problems of comedy. Because there is a handful of, like, jokes in here where it almost goes, like, pushing it a little bit. Because Star Wars has jokes. I'm not saying that Star Wars doesn't, but you could tell the difference between a Star Wars joke and something that's almost like, I always call them, like, they almost feel like they're breaking the fourth wall. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't feel natural. Like, Marvel has, like, a lot of that. I mean, like, look at Thor 3. Even though I like that movie, it is filled with a lot of fucking, like, almost, like, scene-breaking jokes. Like, I'm surprised fucking Thor doesn't just look at the camera, fucking walk off set, and start talking to the audience, you know what I mean? And then walk fucking back into it. Like, it's like
the
that
studio
close.
Audience.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Sitcom.
Like, he fucking he walks off screen, and then all of a sudden fucking Chris Hemsworth's, like, in the theater just standing there like it's a play. But... like, I was afraid this movie was going to have it, because there's a couple moments that I can't really remember off the top of my head right now, but where they have just, like, those kind of jokes. But the nice thing is, they're, like, fucking out of there. Like, if it happens, it's like, that's it. Just fucking get it done. You know what I mean? And it's just, there we go. It's over. You know? And then there's good jokes. Like, one joke I thought was awesome, and it just, like, it's more like it's a Star Wars joke itself. It's like when they go into, like, the whatever fucking Star Destroyer new shit thing. I love how fucking Finn grabs a fucking trash can and just puts it over the top of BB-8. Like, that to me is like, see, that's how you do a Star Wars joke. Right there. Perfect joke. There's a couple other ones. As I said, I can't really remember them, but I noticed them when they kind of did happen, and it didn't really take away, but it's something that you wouldn't have seen in the other movies, I guess.
Was the part where, like, near the beginning when Poe calls in he's calling in the Grand Moff Tarkin ripoff guy, the Grand Moff Tarkin,
that was one
Aryan
of them.
Race Edition, where he's just kind of like, put me through to General Hawk, like, listen here, rebel scum. And he's like, all right, can you put me through General Hawk? Am I going through? Like that seemed like
I felt like that was just like a little bit like, I don't know, it like slightly takes me out of the movie. It's weird how like certain jokes can work and certain ones don't. Like, I don't know, that to me reminded me of like, I feel like when I see that, like, that's the Disney in there. I mean, I know that, like, I say this liking a movie that has fucking Jar Jar Binks running around, but that's just like, because I think in the other Star Wars movies, it was generally like the side characters were the ones that made jokes. You know, R2-D2 and C-3PO were the ones that mostly were fucking cracking jokes. Yoda was fucking cracking jokes. You know what I mean? Generally, Luke, you know, Han had a couple of like this. He just had fucking Harrison Ford moments, really, at the end of the day. You know, and Leia and everybody else.
When they should say joke in Star Wars, they would do it like this. They'd say like, "Listen here, laser brain," or "La for blah," like just some weird like term that's not even in the real world.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like it felt like you were still in the Star Wars universe. Where some of these other ones, I don't know. It sounds so weird because they don't sound like much, but they just slightly take me out. You know.
One kind of took me out for a second. It didn't actually really kill the movie for me, but it's the smallest thing. It's the smallest thing. And I know they use a lot of the same vocabulary as us, but you know, Star Wars has a little bit of swearing, just a tiny bit. They might say hell, damn it, or bastard. Like if it's a really like, you know, intense scene, like you bastard or something like that. I was actually surprised when Poe said, knock down that big ass door. Because don't ask me why. I mean, I know that, you know, don't ask me why, but I could just say like, they use the word ass in the Star Wars universe? Because I'm not used to hearing that kind of like language, maybe just damn it or hell.
Yeah, it's like language has always been very pulled back.
So it's one of those things. It didn't kill them. It didn't like take me out of the movie. It just like doubled back. Like they say big ass. They say ass in Star Wars. I didn't know they do that word in that universe.
You know what was a line that actually took me out? It's not really it's not a swear word, but I thought was weird was Laura Dern's character, which I have to say, I give that character credit because at first you see this character and you're like, fuck that bitch. Why is Laura Dern so evil in this movie? And then you kind of realize it all comes back around. You're like, oh no, she's fucking doing it right the whole time. She just was making sure, you know, you almost thought that she was like a traitor or something like that. And then it turns out it wasn't. It reminded me almost even like 3 Billboards kind of thing where you think of this person being really bad and they come back around. But she literally, before she goes and kills herself and drives straight into like the fucking Star Destroyer, she goes, Godspeed. I'm like, wait, what? Godspeed? You wouldn't fucking say that.
Yeah.
Like, that took me out. I was like, wait a sec. You would say like Force Speed or, you know, Yoda's cock or something like that. I don't know. You know, there would be like, I just feel like
Yoda's cock.
I'm just surprised if there's 100 people standing around, somebody didn't say, can we just make up some fucking word right there? Like Godspeed, just sort of like, I don't know. I felt like that sort of take it out. This is weird. On your theater, did they actually have they had these like posters up that said like, at like an hour and 47 minutes in the movie, there was a 10-second scene with no audio. That is a creative decision. And I was like, there was like 2 of them I saw. I was like, what the fuck? And they were all like kind of like official looking and everything like that. And it was literally I thought like it's probably like a flashbang or something like that goes off, and it's like, and I know what it was. It was like right when she shoots through at light speed and fucking blasts through, and there's that moment where it's like 10 seconds of no sound. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like was there literally like test groups that were fucking bitching about that? They had. I mean, obviously something happened that they had to start putting those posters up in theaters.
No, I was enjoying the movie, but then like once the good guy ship piloted by the lady from the Jurassic World went flying through, the sound gave out. I mean,
yeah, I want my money back.
People are fucking stupid. Well,
that's all I thought
surprising. Too. I got a quick question for you. Just a really. So this is something. This isn't even really about this movie. When you went to go see when you went to go see this, did you see a trailer for Annihilation?
Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
No, the Natalie Portman like sci-fi horror movie where they go into like the woods.
I didn't see it on this one. I've seen the trailer before though.
It's kind of weird. I didn't realize they probably edit trailers according to the movie. I read the book that movie's based on, and some stuff I don't really recognize from. Maybe I read it like 2 years ago though, so who knows? But there's a part in like the trailer, the new trailer I saw on YouTube. You actually see a monster, and then I'm watching. Yeah, and then I'm watching the trailer in this, and they never show the monster, but you hear it, and so I'm wondering, like, do they know if it's like a PG-13 movie kids are going to be at? Do they actually edit around that and take the fucking monster or the bigger things out like that?
That's weird because that's like a movie where it's like, well, it's like, as long as it's like a Green Band trailer, I don't see why you would have that problem.
Yeah, because you don't actually see. Well, the thing is, you don't.
Well, they showed that Quiet Place movie. That if anything would probably fucking scare little kids. Anyways.
Quiet Place?
Yeah, you haven't seen the trailer. You haven't seen that trailer yet? I've seen it like fucking 5 times. It's this
Quiet
movie
Place,
where it's like this family's like in some post-apocalyptic world is sitting there, and it's like the trailer's like fucking silent the whole time, and like dad's pouring fucking sandbags out so they can walk on it, and they're walking barefoot, and it's just like do 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 do, almost like living our lives and everything like that. And like you can see they're not supposed to be talking, so they're doing like sign language at dinner and whatnot. And then like the kids are playing fucking Monopoly, and they're using like cloth pieces so it doesn't make sound. And fucking like the kid accidentally knocks over the lamp and it makes this loud sound, and you can just see the father's like, fucking damn it, you shitbag! And then like next thing you know, there's like, it just goes like done, and there's like these like monsters. They don't show the monsters, but it shows like claw marks and things like that. Like, and it has like text. It's like, they can't smell you or they can't see you. They just have to hear you or something like that.
I'll have to look that up.
It's kind of interesting. Like, it looks like one of those movies that's either going to be kind of cool or kind of dumb. I don't know. It's like in that in between.
It could be Cloverfield Lane. It could be that, like, where, well, I mean, I guess that movie's a little bit different kind of bottle film, but that was like, I guess we'll see. It turned out that movie was
fucking
really
amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
But, which I didn't like the first Cloverfield, so good that one turned out. But, like, this one, I'm just kind of curious because I mean, the other trailer, you don't actually see any real violence. You just see, like, this monster once or twice in the actual trailer. So that's where I'm like, I'm surprised they edited out of this. I guess they're afraid that kids, which I still don't fucking understand people. I don't fucking understand people. 10 o'clock screening, bring in a baby, the fucking Star Wars. Baby sleep. At this time, you're in a movie where there's fucking lasers and explosions, and you bring this fucking thing to a movie that should be fucking sleeping, and it's trying to fucking sleep. But yet, you feel the need to bring it where it's surround sound, and they're screaming and explosions like for 3 fucking hours. So
fuck those people. You know what I mean? You shouldn't even bring, like, if the fucking kid is under 5 years old and can't fucking handle shit, there should be no babies allowed. I mean, like, this always sounds like one of those ones, but these are the reasons why you need like fucking rules and regulations in life. You shouldn't have to. People should have common fucking decency, but this is the reason why, is because a lot of people are just a bunch of fucking assholes that, you know what I mean, to just bring their fucking obnoxious kids that probably shouldn't have been born in the first place because they're just more assholes. Just, you got fucking mouth breathers fucking making more mouth breathers that aren't going to do a goddamn fucking thing for society. I can't wait till the fucking robots come over and take over. Then nobody will be fucking wasted.
I don't know. I think we need a license to go to the movie theater. It's not hard.
I think you need a license to go to movie theater. I think you need a fucking license to have children. That's like fucking bullshit that retards can have fucking kids. I don't mean like retards. I mean like, you know, idiots can have fucking kids.
Like, well, it's just one of those things. Just, I mean, how fucking hard is it? Well, here's an amazing thing. Well, we already kind of capped off our feelings about the movie. So I liked it. You liked it. Not perfect. We both liked it.
We liked it. It's not perfect, but it was still fun.
is not 3 Billboards.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, maybe that was the thing too, is because I saw 3 Billboards only a couple days beforehand. It's kind of hard to come off a movie like that and then try to be. It sounds so weird to say that. Like, you come off a movie like 3 Billboards, it's kind of hard to be blown away by something else. Even if it's Star Wars, it's kind of hard to be blown away by something else.
I like to imagine like 30-year-old Ryan going to 10-year-old Ryan and like, okay, 2 movies are going to come out really close to the other. One is a sad, dramatic comedy about a girl lady who put up some billboards in town talking shit to the sheriff. And another one's going to be Star Wars. You're going to like 3 Billboards more. Wait, what?
What is it? What's wrong with old Ryan? Okay, don't refer to him as old Ryan yet, because that's not old Ryan yet. But no, you believe me. When you see it, you'll know.
I say this to like 10-year-old Ryan, who's like still holding like a Slave One like ship in his hand with like a fucking like Han Solo and Carbonite figure.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I'm not gonna lie, I was a late bloomer with that. I still play like Star Wars toys till I was like probably 10 or 11. But yeah.
Sure.
Anyway,
if I see a cool Star Wars toy, I still buy it.
Oh no, I mean, actually, yeah, I might buy a figure here and there for something. But I mean, I actually played with toys right till I was like 10. I was one of those kids. But yeah, probably shouldn't admit that on the air. But anyway, no. But what was I gonna say? What was I saying? Oh yeah. Anyway, I'm at that point where I'm like, we should probably have a fucking license for movies, because it's like I'm almost willing to go to the Alamo Draft House, and I'm not being paid to say this, but it's like it's on the other side of town for me. You got to reserve your tickets ahead of time, but you know what? They got bouncers there that kick people out if they fucking talk, and they get 1 warning, and then they're fucking out.
See, that's good.
And yeah, sure, they have waiters coming by and dropping food off in front of you, but they're quiet about it. I'd rather take that. I'd rather take the guy who occasionally runs by, grabs the ticket, runs out, then drops the food off, runs back. I'd rather take that than some asshole fucking crying or talking the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly. Now, can you order food there once the movie already starts? Or is that just having to do
you just write it down on the card. You write it down.
Yeah, see, that's the one part that kind of like, I feel like that's kind of weird. Like, you would think they would just serve food like almost like between like the previews and the trailers. You know what I mean? Like, I could see that, and then once the fucking like, it was almost like last call is when the trailers start up, and then from that point on, because that's the only thing. I just feel like that'd be slightly distracting, just seeing like some fat guy being like, "Go back, bring me more." Bring me more.
You don't talk to him.
But you don't talk. I know what I mean, but like just seeing this guy keep going back and forth. I mean, I guess it's no different than some kid that's got to fucking pee like 3 times. But even still, that seems to very rarely happen. But whatever. Other than that, though, well, you also, there's that theater that's in San Francisco though that also is an 18 and up theater. It's not like a porn house, but I mean, like it's literally there's nobody under 18 that's allowed to go in. It's regular movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And well, it's just one of those things. Like I don't know. I'm fine with armed bouncers at movie theaters. Just like they don't have to have guns. They could have tasers and batons. I'd take that.
Yeah, but if they have guns, I feel safer.
If they have guns, it's fine. I understand why. We got to work our way up to it. There's some constitutional stuff probably got to get through before we get that. But I'll settle for batons and tasers. So if they're talking during, I just like to imagine like someone was tasered at the newest Lego movie.
Well, see, you know what? I'm going to say this. This will pull it back to Star Wars. You know what? If you're in the Empire and you went to a movie theater, I bet you they got that kind of stuff. Because the thing is like in a good fascist like world, where like, because everybody always puts fascism as like a negative thing, but when fascism is working out, you have nice control like that. Nobody fucks around because you know what I mean? They're not going to get fucking tasered at the movie theater. Mm-hmm. Just saying. I mean, look at Starship Troopers. That's a perfect example of like fascism working out totally fine.
Just want to smash
until
bugs.
The fucking bugs come down. That's like the only downfall. But you know. But yeah,
you know.
Oh, the more you know. That's definitely true. So yeah, fuck those people at the theater. I hate when there's fucking fucks who can't like handle. That's just the thing that bothers me in life. Is people that just can't handle themselves in public. I feel like when you go into public, you're supposed to have some goddamn decency about yourself. You know what I mean? It's like one of those ones like, don't let your fucking kid yell. Don't let your fucking kid run around. Tell him to sit down and shut the fuck up and become an adult. I don't care how fucking old he is. You know what I mean? Just get him quiet and whatnot. Because here's the thing. It's like, that's like one of those ones, like, you know what I mean? Like, you wear pants to the movie theaters, don't you? Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't come in there fucking, like, lighting bonfires in the movie theater, right? Well, you don't fucking have your kid fucking talking to in the movie theater. I feel like one of those, like those, like, 2000s commercials where, like, you wouldn't steal a car, would you? You wouldn't just suck. You wouldn't go out and suck dick for money, would you? Well, why would you steal a movie? DVD. You wouldn't steal a DVD.
Downloading. It's as bad as stealing a car and sucking a dick. Those things are hand to hand. You fucking know it.
It's like you wouldn't join an ISIS forum, would you?
9/11 just happened. Are you gonna question the government? Like, no, of course not.
Yeah, but yeah. Other than that, though, that's probably a good place to wrap it up. Good fun times to have. 2 movies that you really, I mean, like, 1 movie pure amazing. You know, I mean, I would say 3 Billboards is like the perfect 4 out of 4. I would say Star Wars is still like, I'd say it's like a 3 out of 4. I think it's still really good, really fun. It's just one of those ones, like, it's safe and it kind of misses some opportunities. And I mean, I could see where at the end of the day, the people that are like super hardcore Star Wars, because here's the thing, I like Star Wars, but I've never considered myself like those people that are like, they live their life by the fucking lightsaber, you know what I mean? Like, I don't wake up every day and fucking bow down to Luke Skywalker and Yoda and so on. Maybe I'll do that to Jurassic Park, but I'm not going to do that to Star Wars.
You were talking about doing the Jedi Church at one point.
Oh, I was kind of interested in that. I was doing like the mix between Jedi and Sith. And I'm not, once again, I like Star Wars a lot, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's people out there like who like Star Wars like way more than I do. And I mean, like, I like Batman and Jurassic Park like a fucking lot. That's, to me, like, I always consider that's my Star Wars. You know? Yeah. You know what I mean? I like Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. It's like, I like it a lot, but it's like, I don't have that, like, I've read every single book. I mean, I guess I've played about every single game. Like, that I guess for you,
it's like Batman, Jurassic Park, Roadhouse.
I do like anything Patrick Swayze. You know what I mean? Fucking that. It's a tough one between Roadhouse and Point Break. 2 fucking amazing movies. But yeah, other than that, though, good times to be had. But yeah, we're going to wrap this bad boy up. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
Make sure to check out oldmanorange.com for more fun stuff. Until then, we'll see you all later.
Later, folks.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. Won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to Old Man Orange.